Good evening. We'd like to welcome everyone to the City of Palatka's Commission meeting for September 22nd, 2022. At this time, we're going to call this meeting to order. We will have Chaplain Alonzo Mulberry lead us with the invocation, and I'm going to ask that Commissioner Campbell lead us with the pledge.
Father in heaven, thank you once again for this day. We give you praise and glory for your goodness towards us. We pray, God, that you will bless this city. God, we need you now as never before. We pray for the guidance and wisdom that's necessary to move this city forward in a positive manner. We pray, God, that you will crown every leader's head with the wisdom that's necessary, God, for a strategy that will help keep this community safe. We bless you for it now, and we thank you for it. We give you praise in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Thank you. Commissioner Tammy McCaskill. Here. Commissioner Will Jones.
Present.
Commissioner Justin Campbell.
Present.
Commissioner Rufus Borum.
Present.
Mayor Terrell Hill.
Here.
All members present and accounted for, sir.
Thank you. For the record, we have a quorum. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes for both items 2A and B?
Motion to approve.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor in a second. Is there any unreadiness? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Next up is public comment. Public comments will be limited to 3 minutes. No action will be taken on comments at this time. If there's anyone here wishing to speak during public comment, you can fill out a yellow speaker's card in the back of the room. Ms. Kitchens, can you raise your hand so they'll see them? And so if you need to fill out a card, please fill one out and also put down the specific item number on the agenda that you wish to speak on. If you're speaking on general public comment or you want to share the good news with us, just come forward when we have the general public comment, which is now. If not, we will be calling your name out during the specific items when we go into our public hearing. So I've got a few cards here for public comment. First up is Ms. Allegra Kitchens. Yours has no agenda item listed on this one, so I thought you may have had a general public comment as well. Mr. Overturf. It's always a pleasure to see you, sir.
Thank you. Good to be here. Steve Overturf, 111 Grassy Lane here in Palatka. I wanted to come here tonight on behalf of Johnson Overturf Funeral Home to express our appreciation to all of you, to your consideration of what the improvements have been made for our city cemeteries. We were able to meet with Mr. Holmes and the cemetery staff last Friday and listen to a lot of great ideas that anticipate being implemented here in the future. We've been seeing some great things happening with the cemeteries. The way the cemeteries are being kept. I know everybody doesn't always agree with that, but if you know how far back things go and see where things have come to between the regular mowing, the fence, the cleaning up of things, you're to be commended for the progress that's being made. We heard about some future plans, and we're just really pleased that you all have taken an initiative to allow the cemetery crew to do what they do best and listen to input from not only us, but also from our folks from the public that have lots in the cemetery. So we just wanted to thank you all for the progress that's being made. I know you may not always hear it. I try to talk with those as I'm seeing you around town, but great progress starts at the top. And that's where we see it. You've got a great crew with that cemetery right now. It is very encouraging to us to see that you have folks that are not just doing a job of care and And they're showing it to us, and they're listening to what our concerns are, how we can both better serve the public. So I just wanted to take a minute tonight to come and to express our appreciation to you all for the progress that is being made, and look forward to the plans that we heard last Friday in helping make it a better appearance to not just the ones that have lots out there and have family buried there, but also it's a great impression on people new to our community when they can ride by and see that we take pride in how our cemeteries look, how we are grateful for our forefathers and our family members who've made this a community it is. I think that makes a great impression on them coming to a new community or people just passing by. So just wanted to take a minute to come and thank you all for the progress that's being made.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Patterson.
Hey, good evening. My name is Jay Patterson. I'm the Dean of Technical Education at St. John's River State College. And I appreciate just a minute to tell you, my office is over on Hudson Avenue and in the Workforce Training Center in the old elementary school. And I wanted to just share with you a program that we're doing. It's a manufacturing preparation accelerated program, and we're working with local employers and Goodwill, which has expanded their services to Putnam County in the A-STEP program. So we hope to offer it for free to those who are 18 and over who are interested. It's a program that's designed to get people connected to local employers. We've run it twice before. We've done it once in Palatka and once in Orange Park. Worked with Georgia Pacific, Backcon, Smith Products, Veritas Steel, Camarco, and some other local employers. We've been in touch with the Housing Authority just to make sure that folks know about it. And I just wanted to share that news, let you know that we're there. We hope to be doing similar type programs. It's beginning in October, but we're going to be working with people so that we can do it in a hybrid format so that anybody who's interested, who's 18 and over, could contact us at the college, and we could work with them to see if they're eligible and how we might be able to work with their schedule. So it's really ideal for people who maybe are unemployed or underemployed and looking for kind of a job with a local employer and a career in the community. So
Right. Thank you very much for sharing with us.
Thanks.
For the program. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, may we ask speakers to please pull the microphones towards them?
Sure. Is there anyone else here for general public comment at this time who has not filled out a speaker's card? Seeing no one, we will close public comment. We'll now move into our student of the month for September 2022. This is our first student of the month of the year, and we're going to go ahead and cancel it. Mr. Vickers, are you speaking on a specific item or a general comment? A specific item. Okay, we'll let you fill your card out then. So student of the month is canceled for September 22. Everyone here for that? Student of the month is an opportunity for us to celebrate our young people, for us to celebrate families and friends, as well as the educators who are working with the students. And it is always exciting for us to begin the school year out. And it's also exciting for us to have the opportunity to do it in person, which is something we haven't done consistently for a few years. And it's always great to see families and faces and the kids and their faces light up as they come forward. So student of the month for this year, we're going to start out with Commissioner McCaskill. You're with me this year for student of the month. So any words of wisdom before we get started?
Just want to thank all of you students for representing us, the hard work that you do, and to mimic Ms. Commissioner Borum's words, remember to shoot for the moon, and even if you miss, you'll be among the stars. Thank you.
All right, so now we will give a few directions as we get started. What we'll do is we have a plaque for every school. The names of the students will be engraved in the plaque. Every year we give the plaque out to the school. We also have certificates for the students who are being recognized. And so we will have those as well. Mr. Vickers is not one of the students being recognized this year. And so we'll go ahead, Commissioner McCaskill, if you can join me.
Okay, perfect.
So as we proceed with our students coming forward, students, when you come forward, we'll have you assemble across the front of the room along with the representative from the school. And we will move forward from there. We will then take a brief break so that we can get photos. Yeah, you're gonna get the flags out as well. All right, so let's get rolling with Student of the Month. First up, Browning Pierce Elementary School. Chloe Purefoot. Children's Reading Center Charter School. Penelope Garcia Rivera. Hillcrest Academy, Allie Norris. James Long Elementary School, Strand Cahan. Kelly Smith Elementary School, Xavier Hill. I like the last name. Mellon Learning Center, Pre-K, Amir Poole. I think Amir needs 2 hand claps. We got to give him another round. Mellon Learning Center, K through 12, Teddy Hale. Mosley Elementary School, Leslie Palacios. Palatka Junior Senior High School, David Cliff. Baptist Academy, Brianna Jordan. Putnam Academy of Arts and Sciences, Beatrice Cass. Thank you, Commissioner Board. So as we're doing that, it's always a great opportunity for us to first and foremost say thank you to our educators. All too many times they never get enough thank you. They typically get complaints or someone who doesn't realize what sacrifices are made by them on a daily basis to ensure the safety, the education, and that our children are given love on a consistent basis. So we want to thank all of our educators for the work that they do and the sacrifices that they make. So let's give them a round of applause. Next up, thank you to you, to the family and friends who are assembled around here who've invested in these children. And it takes a village to raise a child. And we just want to thank the neighbors, the family, the friends, and especially the parents for being a part of their lives and for instilling in them the value of good citizenship and that education is the key to success. So let's give you guys a round of applause as well. Then just before we get finished, I'm going to leave you with something that I learned at 8 years old. I'm now 50. I never thought I'd be saying that. But every morning in Miss Green's class in 3rd grade, we started the day out by saying, I am somebody. If my mind can conceive it and my heart can believe it, I know I can achieve it because I am somebody. You guys are somebody special. You're destined for greatness. We are absolutely proud of you. And we're looking forward to you being the leaders of tomorrow in this community and continually making us all proud. So continue to put your education first, continue to make great choices, and just continue to lead by example. So let's give you a round of applause. So at this time, we're gonna take some photographs and we will stand adjourned for a few minutes so that the students can get their individual pictures with their family and friends and commemorate this moment. And then from there, we'll go back into our agenda, but we want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to remember this special moment. And so we'll take one collective picture of the students along with me and any commissioners who want to join the picture. And that'll be for the newspaper. And then we will start to take individual pictures. We'll all line up somewhere. We'll line up in the center aisle and come forward one at a time, take pictures. Okay? We'll stand adjourned for a moment.
We can stand up here.
Okay, thank you.
So what we're gonna do, everybody, just So again, we will go ahead and reconvene the meeting. It's always well worth it when you get an opportunity to interact with our young people. You know, we thank you for your patience. These moments are second to none. Those smiles and conversation are what it's all about. And so we're going to move again into our spotlight with the Employee of the Month for September 2022. Ms. Jones.
Okay, so as the city of Palatka in the new culture of 2022, we started recognizing one of our employees every month based on reliability, punctuality, attendance, and different initiative and different other criteria. So this month, I'd first like to recognize our sponsor for our Community Affairs Department is our sponsor for this month. And the Employee of the Month is Captain Philip Smith.
Mr. Mayor.
Have your family come up.
Commissioners, Mr. Mayor, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to recognize Captain Philip Smith. Captain Smith has been with the City Fire Department for over 18 years. During this time, Captain Smith has proven himself to be a remarkable firefighter and a great leader to his crew. Smith wears his uniform with pride and demands his subordinates do the same. Captain Smith and his crew oversee the buildings and facility maintenance, as well as truck maintenance for the department. We appreciate his efforts daily. Thank him and his crew for their hard work. Thank you, Captain Smith. Thank you to the commission for allowing this time to honor our employee. And thank you to Ms. Jones for this program to honor and thank our city employees. Thank you.
Captain. Got any words for us? That's a scary thing to say. That's a rare moment. And so just for those who didn't know, he actually did you get your hair cut just for Employee of the Month? Congratulations. And it's always a pleasure. This is one of the more spirited personalities that we have in the city. So it's always a pleasure. Thank you for your, thank you. Next up, there's a retirement recognition. Stephen Barker, Palatka Fire Department, 16 years of service.
Commissioners, Mr. Mayor, thank you again for taking time out of your schedule to recognize Engineer Stephen Barker for his over 16 years of service with the Palatka Fire Department. We thank him for his service and wish him well in his future endeavors. For his service, the department has purchased a leather helmet and a plaque recognizing his years of service, and we appreciate everything he's done. Thank you, Stephen. And thank you to the commissioners.
He didn't get his hair cut for the picture. Congratulations again on 16 years of service with the city of Palatka. I got an opportunity to see you earlier this week, unfortunately, in your new capacity But again, we appreciate you and the sacrifices that you made, and we want to thank your family as well for lending you to us for 16 years. And so again, thank you very much.
Been up here a few times in the last 16 years, and it's kind of a bittersweet moment to say goodbye in this moment. I appreciate it. Every day of my career is 16 years. I've been a part of this community, and in my capacity, I still get to be a part of that, and that's probably the most exciting part. Is the people in this city are what make it into what it is, and the fire service is a place for the community and a voice and a place that people feel safe. And I hope to always be in there and be in that capacity for the citizens of Palatka and Putnam County.
Thank you.
Before we get into our proclamations, Mr. Vickers, we're going to give you a chance to speak since you were here just before I gabbled down on your general public comment. So I know you're going to come up with some happy news. Come on. You're now at you're at 2.5 minutes. Yeah, absolutely.
Good evening. The good looking and the handsome. My name is Askew Vickers, 207 North 18th Street, Palatka, Florida, right down the road. I'm here because there's some issues that I want to talk about. One is that I have tried to make appointments to speak to the chief of police for quite some time. Called him, no reply, no call back. Said he'll call back. He don't make an appointment with the city attorney. He don't show up. Make another one. He don't show up. Make another with the city manager. He don't show up. I can't see why is that we have to go through all this to sit down and talk about the problems that we have in Palatka. There's some serious things that are going on. There was an event that happened a third of this month at 11:30. Possibly could have been avoided had we took time to talk about it and get some things corrected so these things wouldn't happen. There's a city ordinance saying that after 10 o'clock, there should be no loud noise. And we got police sitting across the street, up to 7 police cars, especially every Saturday night when I'm open for 3 to 4 hours protecting their property. I call for service. They won't come. They said, that's not their property, it's mine. They don't do that. This private property. But you cross the street, sit here, why are you sitting here and won't do nothing? This has been going on for quite some time. I cannot get this addressed. People are getting killed. This thing is not worthwhile doing it. And I would like to have something from somebody to explain to me why is it the chief of police won't sit down and talk and try to correct some of the things that's going on. There's a code, I don't remember it, but y'all have it there. I remember quite some time ago because Spurs, Steamboat Willie was having events outside. After 10 o'clock, they had to get appearance for that. So I know then there was another place out there on Pine Street. They closed them down at 10 o'clock because the music was too loud. But I'm sitting right here and you running from one place to another and they tell me, oh, we'll send them home if you close up. You invite the people because you open up. Is this the way we do business here? Taxpayers pay what? For all, not all the police funds, but it pays, part of our tax money pays for who? The sheriff's department, the police department, the school board, the fire department, all that. But when you talk to them, I don't have a right to have them come and service me when I call for service. And the city attorney and the city manager, they sit here, they know what I'm talking about because I've been through, the last time was the city manager, his chief of police would not show up. He sent somebody to his place. How do we address this problem?
We'll address it. We will definitely address it. Chief's in the back of the room right now. I'll let you get with Chief before we leave here, and let's see if we can go ahead and coordinate that meeting.
Mr. Mayor, we will. Just for clarification, Mr. Vickers did make an appointment with myself, city attorney, and the police department. Mr. Captain Newcomb showed up, city attorney showed up, I showed up, Mr. Vickers showed up. He declined to talk to us at that time about the issues that he had and said that he wouldn't talk until Chief Shaw was there. But in all fairness, city manager, city attorney, and Captain Newcomb from the police department were there, making ourselves available to speak with him, and he declined to speak with us. So just for clarification, we did meet with him before the incident that he's referencing about his issues. And as I said, he declined to speak with us.
I declined because my issues were not with the person you sent. My complaint was with the chief of police. I can't talk to somebody about something that's happening with somebody else. He can't give me the answers and get correct anything wrong. He doesn't have that authority. The person who's in charge is the chief of police. That's who I asked to speak with. You can't send me somebody else as a substitute.
Let's see what we can do to facilitate the meeting, and let's make our best efforts to do that.
And on top of that, the night of that happened, there was no call for service. Not one ambulance or 911 call. Those people transported to the hospital in cars and trucks. And the police sitting across the street.
Thank you, Mr. Vickers.
Mayor, commissioners, what Mr. Vickers just told you about me not returning calls or not showing up is not true. That's not true at all. I think the city attorney and the city manager can attest to. First, the meeting with the city manager, I was sick, but I did send a representative. His phone calls, when he called, I returned his phone calls. He hasn't called me in a while, and in absence, he's addressed the city manager and city attorney. The meeting with the city attorney, the second one, me and the city attorney met, we agreed that it wasn't no need because of his issue for me to be in attendance. Is that correct? So I haven't dodged or ducked or ignored Mr. Vickers in any manner at all.
So let's do this, Chief. Let's see if let's go ahead and get everybody on the same page. And y'all had a conversation. Chief doesn't seem like he's opposed to talking to you. And so let's see if we can get on the same page. You've heard it clearly, he was sick. And so let's move forward. Well, here it is, Mr. Vickers. At the end of the day, we can't do anything for what happened in the past, but what we can do is talk about the future. And so that's what let's move forward and see what we can do to come up with a solution to the problem. You're here because you're solution driven. You're gonna talk to the city manager and coordinate it. That's not my call. But you've made your request for the chief, and I'm sure the chief is gonna make sure he accommodates. So we appreciate you. Next up is our proclamation for Family History Month, October 2022, Putnam Genealogical Society.
Thank you.
Do we
Mr.
have a representative here?
We do. Whereas the institution of family serves as an unwavering source of affection, stability, and compassion, and stands as a symbol of constancy, promise, and encouragement that will help every generation discover its full potential. And whereas individuals from all over our nation and across the world have embarked on a genealogical journey to discover the identities of their ancestors and how various ancestral forces may have shaped their past and present. And whereas an ever-growing number of people are collecting, preserving, sharing genealogies, personal documents, and memorabilia detailing the life and times of families around the world. And whereas the Putnam County Genealogical Society is striving to connect those interested in researching their ancestry to valuable resources. Now, therefore, I, Terrell L. Hill, Mayor of the City of Palatka, together with the members of the Palatka City Commission, do hereby endorse and proclaim October 2022 as Family History Month in the City of Palatka. We encourage our citizens to appreciate the importance of family history research, so we may renew our commitment to concept of home and family. In witness whereof I hereunto set my hand and cause to be affixed the official seal of the City of Palatka this 22nd day of September in the year of our Lord 2022.
So move.
Second.
Motion on the floor. Second, your hand ready to. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Give a round of applause.
Yeah, I'm the president. Thank you. I think family history is something that can connect all of us, whether you have the best family in the world or a family that you're not too keen on. We all have people in our history that made us. And so the Putnam County Genealogical Society is helping to co-host an open house at the local Family History Center in 2 weeks, October 6th, at 1414 Hudson Avenue, the local LDS church. And they have a beautiful little facility there that anybody in the community can come and visit. And if you're not available during those hours that it's open, you can make appointments. And we just want to encourage everybody in Putnam County to find out more about your own family history.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did we get the invite? Did we get the invite down, Pat, so they can send it to us in the calendar invite so we can be on? Okay. Thank you.
Next up,
Thank you, Mr.
50th anniversary of the Florida Association of City Clerks.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whereas the Florida Association of City Clerks, the FACC, the professional membership organization for the Florida's municipal clerk, celebrates its 50th anniversary this year. And whereas the Florida Association of City Clerks began in 1972 when its founder, the late Robert N. Clark, CMC, city clerk of the city of Sunrise, Florida, saw the need for a statewide organization to bring together like-minded people to unite the voice of all municipal clerks and share ideas and to assist one another in the work of the municipal government. And whereas the office of the municipal clerk provides a professional and essential link between the citizens, local governing bodies, and intergovernmental agencies at the local, state, and federal levels, along with other essential services. And whereas the FACC is the primary source for educational programs, seminars, workshops, and webinars for the Florida's municipal clerks. Whereas municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of their office, utilizing the educational training programs the FACC offers to obtain the International Institute of Municipal Clerk certifications, Certified Municipal Clerk, and Master Municipal Clerk. Now, therefore, I, Terrell O. Hill, Mayor of the City of Palatka, together with the members of the Palatka City Commission, do hereby recognize the 50th anniversary of the Florida Association of City Clerks. And we commend the FACC for its 50 years of excellent service provided to municipal clerks statewide. In witness whereof, I've hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the official seal of the City of Palatka this 22nd day of September in the year of our Lord, 2022.
So move.
Second.
Motion on the floor, second by Commissioner Jones. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously.
Mr. Mayor, accepting the proclamation is Vanessa Costello, City of Winter Haven. Also present in the audience is Andre Alameda, Town Clerk of the Town of Pomona Park, as well as Joni Payne, Town Clerk of the Town of Interlaken. And retired.
All right.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, staff, and members of the public. My name is Vanessa Castillo, and I'm the city clerk for the city of Winter Haven, located in Polk County in Central Florida. The Florida Association of City Clerks President Cheryl Mooney was on Zoom and was going to be accepting this proclamation this evening. However, she had a work engagement at 6:30, so I am accepting on her behalf. The FACC would like to express appreciation for this proclamation tonight, as this organization is vital to the success of all clerks. The longevity of this organization, as you can tell, 50 years, stands as a testament to that. Sunny and I and the other clerks in the room are privileged to be members of the FACC, so we thank you for your support. Thank you. Thank you.
In that same mode, we're going to continue on the very special moment at this time. We're going to have a recognition of our IMC certified municipal clerk pinning for our own clerk, soon to be the Sunny Prince. Special people that you have here for you at this time.
Good evening again. Thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. My name is Vanessa Castillo, as I had already said, and I'm the city clerk for the city of Winter Haven, home of Legoland, and also a mentor on the Florida Association of City Clerks Mentoring Committee. As Sunny's mentor for the past 1.5 years, it is with great pleasure that I can be here to congratulate your city on the recent accomplishment of Sunny Krantz upon receiving her certified municipal clerk, otherwise known as CMC, designation. Ms. Krantz, a Putnam County native, has been employed with the city of Palatka since June 1st, 2020, when she was hired as a city manager's administrative assistant. On June 25th, 2022, the commission named Ms. Krantz the acting city clerk. Ms. Krantz holds a bachelor's degree from Liberty University Online, an associate's degree from Liberty University Online, and 2 associate degrees from St. John's River State College. Ms. Krantz is an active member of the International Institute of Municipal Clerks and the Florida Association of City Clerks. Ms. Krantz achieved the Certified Municipal Clerk designation from the IIMC on August 20th, 2022, and plans to begin study for the Master Municipal Clerk designation. The International Institute of Municipal Clerks, IIMC, and its partner, the Florida Association of City Clerks, FACC, are professional associations that promote continuing education and certification through university and college-based institutes. IIMC's primary goal is to actively promote the continuing education and professional development of municipal clerks through extensive education programs, certification, publications, networking across the globe, annual conferences, and research. The FACC's primary goal is to actively promote the continuing education and professional development of municipal clerks in the state of Florida by partnering with the Florida League of Cities and the Florida Institute of Government to meet the ever-changing educational needs of city and town clerks to improve their knowledge in areas such as public administration, law, management, elections, and many other disciplines. Currently, only 190 of 577 FACC members have attained the Certified Municipal Clerk designation. Therefore, consider yourselves very blessed that Sunny now has this. To achieve the CMC designation, Sunny has gone through and completed the IIMC approved Municipal Clerks Institute program conducted by the John Scott Daly Florida Institute of Government through the Florida State University in Tallahassee. This program provides 110 student instructor contact hours of in-depth courses in managerial and leadership skills, social and interpersonal concerns, and technical training needed to deal with changes taking place in government today. The program aids municipal clerks in improving job performance and recognizes the professionalism of the municipal clerk's office. Completion of a recognized career development academy, along with experience in local government and participation in conferences, meetings, and educational seminars are required to earn this prestigious certified municipal clerk designation. Sunny is now part of an elite group of professionals in local government, a group she could not have become part of without your commitment to support her efforts. On behalf of the Florida Association of City Clerks President, Cheryl Mooney, its board of directors, its members, we are so proud of you. On a more personal level, Sunny, you have been an absolute joy to know all this time. Your enthusiasm is contagious, your knowledge, it really boggles my mind that you just started in this such a short time ago. Please join me in congratulating your acting city clerk, Sunny Krantz, on her impressive accomplishment as one of our newest certified municipal clerks. Well done. And Sunny, please remember to display your plaque and wear your pin with pride as an example of your dedication and professionalism. So please pin you. Ceremony is very important. And I have an additional surprise.
Whoa.
So I've been in government for 23 years. And I worked for Orange County government in Orlando for 9 of those years before I came to work for a municipality, the city of Haines City. It was the first time that I was working for a municipality, and my boss was the city clerk. She was a fabulous mentor to me. She made every day fun. Almost everything I know is because of her and because, of course, the FACC, all the conferences and everything. And to this day, I consider her my mentor. I put her on a pedestal because she was all that and then some. And it was because of that that I joined the FACC mentoring committee. And when that chair sent out an email and said, hey, here's a list of everyone that's requesting a mentor. If you would like, you can choose someone. I specifically chose Sunny. Why? Because my city clerk, born and raised in the city of Palatka, and she's in the audience today.
And she finished her career in Haines City.
I worked with her in the city of Haines City. She had moved there and lived there for many, many years. She retired and she came back. She lives in East Palatka, so you have her back. That's right, that's right. So she was my inspiration to be everything that I am today. So I just wanted to give back to the city of Palatka because of her.
Full circle, all right.
She already had wonderful people skills. She just needs to learn the mechanics of the clerk's office. She made me look good. Congratulations.
Krantz. This time we would administer the oath of office. By general consent. By general consent. This is the easy one. So if you're not in favor, don't talk. I'll entertain a motion at this time.
So move.
Sonny Krantz as our clerk for the city of Palatka. Is there a motion on the floor?
We already made it.
You haven't made it? I hadn't finished. Is there a motion on the floor?
So move.
There's a motion by Commissioner Campbell, second by Commissioner Jones. Very quickly, you beat Commissioner Borum. And so, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. And Commissioner Borum is just glad to hear so much about Haines City.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He's a Haines City native. At this time, Ms. Krantz, we're going to ask you to bring up any family members that you want to at this time as we get ready to administer the oath. And I will say this much slower than you. Please find the Bible, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Sonny LeRae Krantz, do solemnly swear I will support and honor to the best of my ability all applicable laws of the state of Florida, Putnam County, and the city of Palatka. And I will faithfully perform the duties of my appointed office as city clerk in a fair, equitable, and ethical manner, befitting the dignity and responsibilities of the office. So help me God. By the powers invested in me, you are now officially the clerk of the city of Palatka. Please sign this document for me. You can sign this fast. Ms. Krantz, the floor is all yours.
I've gotten like 2 texts and an email already about this night. This room is filled with the people I consider mentors, colleagues, and family. Commissioner Jones was the recruiter at my first job. And then there's Mr. Holmes, who took a chance on a young 22-year-old and helped her start her career. Without his leadership, I wouldn't be here today. To the mayor, commission, department heads, and to the Florida Association of City Clerks, thank you for your support and guidance. Now, I need to get back to work. I have minutes of a commission meeting today.
That's only Sonny Krantz can do. There are, I'll say this first. There are people that you meet in life who you realize that just from the inception of their presence, they're blessings. Sonny Krantz is probably the happiest person I've ever met in my entire life. She is always on go. She's attentive. She has attention for detail. And she's happy when you don't even want her to be happy. But she makes every day that you come to work with joy. She loves what she does. She loves the city. She's committed. She even loves working with Don. But she's just one of those people that has an infectious personality. And anybody who meets her, you're going to be better as a result of having her around. I don't know many people in this world who have bad things to say about Ms. Krantz, because Sonny is truly a shining star. And so we're glad to have you here. You are wise beyond your years, and you are great for this city. And so we love you and we appreciate you. So from the commission, we're going to take our time, just as we do with Student of the Month, to make sure that we recognize those who are worthy of recognition.
Mayor, I think you said it perfect. You summed up who Sunny is as a person. Her vibrancy is contagious. There have been many times that I've come into City Hall sluggish. There's been many times I've come in here. Just the other day I came, it was just a hell of a day, but the presence of Sunny and the presence alone just brightened up my day. She has always been there when I needed her. She has corrected me with love. But it just speaks to the person she is, how dedicated she is to the job. Even in commission meetings, when getting citizens to cut on the mic, it's just those little things that Sunny can only do. But I'm grateful for you. Thank you for being one of those young individuals that stayed here, that made a difference, and now you're helping create change with us. So thank you so much.
Not much more to say after the mayor and the commissioner, but I would like to personally just thank you, Sunny, for all the assistance that you have given us. You always go above and beyond the call of duty, from getting our reservations together, for reminding us of meetings when we forget, all the little intangible things. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, and congratulations on all your accomplishments so far and the ones that you're looking forward to achieving. Right.
Well, Sunny is everything to the city. I mean, you can't put anything in front of Sunny that she can't accomplish. And again, just like she's made it to the elite of the elite, CMC, she completed that. Sunny she brings sunshine to a cloudy day. And again, she is always vibrant. And no matter what spirit you're in, she's gonna lift you higher. She's just an excellent person to be around. She carries a great spirit. And I want to thank her for everything that she's done for the city and continue to do for the city, because she helped make everybody around her better. So again, I want to commend her for her new accomplishments, and I think she's going to continue forward with additional things, accomplishing things further on in her career. So again, I want to thank you for everything you've done for me and continue to do. And we have an asset in our city.
Exactly. Sunny, your work ethic speaks volumes. You always take care of us. I don't care how many times I call this city. I can call 5 times a day. Sunny's gonna answer and respond with the same tone, and you can hear the smile in her voice. We appreciate all that you do. Congratulations, well-deserved, and officially welcome aboard.
So Mr. Manager, don't cry. Go ahead. Cut your mic off.
That's her line, by the way. So Sunny is, as you've all noticed and all noted and all recognize, a rare person. When I hired Sunny in my law office, I don't know how many years ago that was now. She does, though, probably to the date and hour. I was looking for additional help. And I had someone I had told my people, and don't listen to this, Ms. Jones. I had told the people in my office, my staff, that I didn't want to even talk to anybody under age 50, because I had just gotten to the point where the work ethic of the younger people was not something that in a fast-paced law office I was real tolerant of. And so one of my staff came and said, "There's this young lady at the college I'm taking a class with, you really need to talk to." And I said, "How old is she?" She said, 21. Was that right, Sunny? 22?
Yeah, I was 22, but yeah.
Yeah, 22. I said, "No, I don't want to talk to her." And she said, "You need to talk to her. You know, she's different. You need to talk to her." So I talked to her and I tried not to like her and I tried not to think she'd be a good secretary. And finally I said, okay, we're going to try. This isn't going to work, but we're going to try. I didn't say that to her. I just said, we're going to try. And then over time, there was, as you've noticed, and as you've already recognized, no challenge that she didn't meet. Things that she was not familiar with, she mastered. She came in at some point and said, would it help you if I became a certified paralegal? And I said, yeah, sure. And she came back, it seemed like the next day. It wasn't, but it seemed like it very shortly. It said, I've got my certification and I'm a paralegal. And then there came a time, do any of you even remember the show MASH? Okay. Did you happen to remember Radar? Sonny. I mean, I'd start a sentence and before I could finish it, the door was open and Sonny was bringing me a piece of paper or bringing me whatever file I wanted or whatever. That still happens today. If you've been in my office, you can attest to it. And as I said, there was nothing she couldn't master. So when I came over to the city, and I think that's probably what all of you, that's probably the only reason many of you tolerated me was because I brought Sonny. But I came over to the city and I offered her the opportunity of coming over here. And at first she was resistant. She was comfortable in that law office, that environment, those people. And, but in time, you know, we talked and she was concerned that she might not be accepted, might not be liked, might not fit in. I was not concerned. And the result is what you see. I mean, if you've seen a more dedicated, more conscientious, more cheerful, more competent employee, you need to tell me who it is and let me try to hire him. I'll find a slot for him. So all I can say is, Sonny, this is well deserved. You deserve it. You've worked for it. You've earned it. And congratulations. I'm happy for you, truly.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. I love all of y'all.
It's reciprocated. Love you too, Sonny. It's reciprocated.
And now I'm glad we've passed the budget. Her salary is fixed. Is that not right, Ms. Shank? I don't have to worry about a raise or anything.
Don't do it, darling. Fix her money.
And again, thank you to the clerks for being here. It's been a pleasure, and we just appreciate all that you've done in support of Ms. Krantz. And we just look forward to greater things in the future. And if we can be of any service, let us know. Thank you. And finally, as a testament to the infectious personality of Sonny Krantz, we now have Sunshine Neely. So we are full of sun. Never thought it would be two of them in the same place. Well deserved. And our final recognition. You guys still here with us, right? Very special one. Recognition for Putnam County. Officer of the Year, Crime Stoppers of Northeast Florida. Detective Sergeant Lee. Can you come forward at this time, sir? And just so you know, he is of age.
Mayor, commissioners, I know it's a tough act to follow Ms. Krantz, but we're gonna do our best to recognize this very important individual for the police department. Detective Sergeant Colton Lee has been with the police department for over 10 years. His energy that he brings to every case that he works, every major crime, is amazing. He doesn't hesitate to brief and keep me abreast of everything that he has going on. And believe me, with our shortages, it's a lot. It's amazing to see his approach to everything he does and his volunteers as far as wanting to do even more to the police department. We couldn't ask for more from a major crimes detective. On September 15th, Sergeant Lee was nominated for Officer of the Year with the Northeast Florida Crime Stoppers. Crime Stoppers program honors one person in Putnam County and nominates 4 counties throughout the 7th Judicial Circuit in Florida. They're all 4 extreme acts of heroism. Detective Lee was honored for his ability to bring resolution to 3 major crimes, homicides in our area. Not only addressing those of such importance, but in the manner that he not only addressed the family, the community, and the police department. We needed to try to find a way to say thank you to him, and our reasoning for submitting him for this award, we couldn't find anyone within the department that had higher achievements. On that night, Detective Lee was awarded Officer of the Year, and with me, other members of the department who attended, along with his wife, very energetic, couldn't be more pleased. Please help me in honoring Detective Lee for his accomplishments as Crime Stoppers Officer of the Year. Better than that.
Have all of his colleagues come forward at this time. All of our officers, you come forward and join. Everyone under 6 feet on the front row. There you go.
Thank you so much for the recognition. Thank you for inviting me here. And thank you for all your kind words and just since I've been here. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Again, let's also give a round of applause to our first responders, our law enforcement officers who are assembled here today, who oftentimes don't get enough thank you. Work that they do as they go out there serving protect us. There's been a lot of difficult things going on in this community. And guys, we appreciate you. We appreciate your efforts and your work. I know sometimes it seems as though everybody wants to complain, but at the end of the day, we're glad to have you. So again, thank you. Ms. Krantz, are you getting those minutes?
Yes, sir.
Everybody should take note of the fact that Ms. Krantz will now go into warp speed in her reading and comments from her.
This entire meeting will go into warp speed.
The meeting follows her.
Next up, Commissioner Campbell, just for you, items A through E on the consent agenda at this time.
We make a motion to approve the consent agenda as printed.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor in a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Before we do that, I want to take one item out of order. And that's going to be item. I'm losing my place. It's going to be our change order. I'm trying to pull it up. I lost my document. No, it was a change order number 7. Help me out here.
Mayor, are you looking for the emergency item for DB Civil?
I am.
It's not on the agenda.
We're gonna take one item out of it. It's an emergency item. Let's go ahead and take the emergency item for DB Civil. As it relates to a change order, the contract ends on September 30th. That item is a time of the essence item at this point. And so I want to go ahead and take that. I'll entertain a motion to address.
So move.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor in a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. So we're going to take this DB Civil item up at this time. Ms. Gano, if you can go ahead and inform us as to what's going on. This pertains to our projects over off of North 14th Street. South 14th Street, I'm sorry.
Marcia Gano, project manager. It's DB Civil has managed the construction activities on South 14th and 15th. That's upgrades for the stormwater drainage and the sewer replacement. On 5/26 of this year, the commission processed a deductive change order and authorized a schedule change to extend the period of performance to September 30th. Since that time, there's been notable progress, but they have run into extensive material availability problems. This is not unique on this project. We're seeing it pretty much across the board on all of them. So at this point, they're clearly not going to be done by 30 September. So we're asking the board to consider a contract extension of 30 days. During that time, we want to make a commitment to complete 14th Street, Oak and Laurel by 30 October. The material is on hand. They have 1,000 tons. I drove past there just before the meeting tonight, and 14th Street is, it's all there. We are collectively monitoring the progress and would like to make a commitment to report back to the commission on the 13th of October with a revised overall completion schedule at that time. At this time, I'd like to introduce Dalton Moon.
All right, sir.
So overall, as Marcia said, it is across the board aggregate shortage. I do feel that now that we have the aggregate surplus on site, we can once the material is on site, I feel that we can show a good faith effort to break the project up into phases right now to try to finish 14th Oak and push for Laurel to show that progress. The overall intent is to have the aggregate stocked out on the project prior to proceeding with any more 15th Street, so forth. So I think with the 30 days that we will be able to, show progress, and it isn't just aggregates as far as base construction. It is also concrete, binder, and the asphalt material is just unprecedented times right now in this industry. So it's just a roll of the dice, really.
So it's your belief within the 30 days, you'd be able to finish paving?
Yes.
14th Street and then move from there.
Sidewalk, curb, asphalt, and base installation.
And then just punch out from there?
That's just on 14.
Right,
Yes,
just to
yes,
punch out.
Punch out from there.
And any questions from the commission as we're moving forward?
on this change order, will it impact any other projects that we have in the pool of projects?
Commissioner, no, there are no additional projects that are expected after this project in that area. So it should have no impact.
Any other commissioners with questions at this time? Commissioner Jones?
I think I heard you say it, but I didn't hear the response clearly. So that road will be resurfaced all the way
Yes,
done by October 30th.
yes.
Okay, yeah, because we had a lot of calls about the patches in those calls every day. So it's good to know.
And so the suggestion, and this is something that we just became aware of earlier today, the suggestion moving forward on this particular project is to try to work in 30-day intervals and report back to the commission progress, so that we can have this project completed, hopefully very early in 2023, which will put us in a position that the community as a whole will be brought back to its current, to a better state than it was. You can recall there was some significant drainage issues in that area for decades. And so we're trying to get there. And one of the things that we need at this point is just to be able to come back with monthly reports as to progress, no differently than some of the things that Commissioner Borum requests on a regular basis, so that we can be able to report back to the citizens as to where we are and how they get back to some sense of normalcy. And so you don't see that being an issue at all, right, sir?
No, sir. And just a comment, the drainage and sewer installation is complete on the project. So as of right now, it is a roadway job.
And it's looking good.
Yeah.
That road's looking good right now. So any other questions from the commission? If not, I entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
There's a motion to approve staff's recommendation. Is there a second? There's a second. Is there any readiness, any additional questions at this time? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We appreciate you being here. Moving back into our regular business, under item number 6, adoption of resolution 2022 R168, the Christmas parade, November 25th, 2022.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A resolution of the City of Palatka, Florida, granting a special events permit to downtown Palatka for the Christmas parade, setting forth the provisions of the permit and granting permission for noise variance and road closures of St. John's Avenue from 11th Street to Memorial Parkway, and Memorial Parkway from 3rd Street to Reed Street, providing for scrivener's errors.
So move. Second.
Motion on the floor in a second, Mr. Cutright.
I really don't know what I'm supposed to be speaking about, but we had a special event meeting, and Mr. Sam Deputy came in and, Mr. Sam Deputy came in and asked for some allocation from the city. For a conversation with the city manager and city attorney, we decided at this time to hold staff funding to it as a co-sponsorship, but we did also waive the fees for the event. Right now, for the allocation that he's asking for, we gave him the prices that would cost to hold the event at the numbers that he's looking for at the street closures.
And so I'll ask the magical question. I got an opportunity to read the newspaper as it pertained to the Christmas parade. And I guess the newspaper and I guess the court of public opinion decided that the commission had already made a decision on the Christmas parade. So had this issue come before us before?
No. And then in the meeting that we had there, it was told to him it was a city manager and city attorney and staff decision on that. It never said that the commission had made any decision on this.
It's Mr. Holmes.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, since I came into the position, the commission has asked that I try to formulate processes and procedures rather than having decisions made on a random and discretionary and item by item basis. So in this particular instance, let me give you some backdrop if I could. There is a bit of a history here in that last year, Mr. Deputy had at first begun, as I understand it, to prepare for a Christmas parade. And then shortly before the parade advised the city that he was not going to conduct the parade. Then I think there was some event that took place on the weekend of the Christmas parade, but it wasn't what you might call a full-scale Christmas parade. And I don't think it was pursuant to any particular guidelines that had been put in place by the special event committee. Following the Christmas parade, we received communication from Mr. Deputy saying he would never do it again. He was done. He would never handle the Christmas parade again. We were even introduced to another person who was going to take the parade. So we operated on that assumption. Now, it's important to understand a couple of things. First of all, there's nothing budgeted in last year's budget or in next year's budget from the city for the Christmas parade. Nothing. You did have, under the CRA funds, $30,000 last year, $30,000 for Christmas lights. And that's installation, repair, et cetera, and $25,000 this year. So it isn't that you totally threw rocks at Santa Claus. Got $30,000 from last year for lights, to $25,000 for this. You did fund about 4 special events. I think I did articulate those to you in an email that I sent to you earlier in the week. So in talking to Mr. Cutright, when this incident arose, special event committee and the funding request was made, my request and question was, well, what does co-sponsorship mean? In other words, co-sponsorship implies to me that you are in fact joining with someone else in conducting an exercise, co-sponsor. But that's not the case with the Christmas parade. The city is offered the opportunity of funding it, but to the best of my knowledge, we're not offered a seat at the table in the planning. If there is money to be charged for the entries into the parade, who gets in, who doesn't, whether the horses go in front of the band or behind. But you can bet that if something negative occurs in any of that, the city as a quote co-sponsor,
We get credit.
yeah, credit, exactly. So my conversation with Mr. Cutright was, well, exactly what does this involve? Are we part of the planning of it? And I was told that we were not, and that we were a co-sponsor from the standpoint of finances. And my position was, this is something that the commission needs to decide as policy. So what I did that day was send you an email, and a follow-up, I sent an email that indicated that I'm suggesting a proposed policy for city funding of special events. Now, obviously, it's not too late for you to fund this one if you choose to, but it's not in the budget. So basically, for us to fund it and say, yes, we're funding it, would require staff to essentially fund an event that we have no budget for. We have no budget for, the staff has no budget for, we've not been given a budget for. So if you looked at the emails that I sent you, what I have suggested for the future is to try to eliminate some of the confusion and provide for some consistency is basically a 4-step outline. One being that you receive notice of every special event meeting that's going to be held and the agenda, what's going to be on that special event calendar. If you choose to come or you have questions, you can make the phone call and find out. Secondly, during the process of formulating our budget each year, I've asked Mr. Cutright to provide the finance director and ultimately you with every special event of Class B or A nature that was held during the preceding year, the name of it. And then we will make a decision unit as to funding for each one of those events. And you can at least consider it during the budget formulation process. If you fund an event, when it comes before the special event committee, if a sponsor or proponent comes before the committee, they already have an idea. They already know that it's been funded, and there's no reason for anyone to have to come back before you for funding. It's already in the mix, and we go forward. If you don't fund an event and someone comes before the special event committee to ask for funding from the city, then the application for special events will have on its face the statement that they will be expected to come before you to ask you for funding for that event before final consideration by the special event committee. So you can make the decision about whether or not you want to take money that isn't budgeted and put it to a particular event, and if so, in what amount. I've also asked that the commission, if you consider funding an event, determine whether you want to be deemed as a contributor, a financial contributor to the event, or you truly want to be a co-sponsor. But my suggestion has been that if you truly want to be a co-sponsor, that a condition of that be that the city have some input, a seat at the table in the way the event's going to be conducted. And these are suggestions. We're going forward for the future, hoping to, to avoid confusion with regard to the city's contribution and role in funding events. And, you don't have to decide upon them tonight, but there's something for you to consider adopting as a policy. And as far as the Christmas parade, as I indicated, if you choose to fund it, it wasn't in the budget before. So if you fund it, it's going to be basically you, and what you can do, obviously, you can take money out of the reserve funds. I guess that would have come from to fund the event. But you have that ability. We don't really have the ability to take money out of the reserve funds to fund an event. So it isn't anyone having said the parade couldn't take place. Absolutely, it wasn't a decision that you made. There wasn't a process for you to make the decision the way this thing came about. There will be in the future. Should you choose to fund the event at any level or co-sponsor it, whatever you choose to do, you can do it tonight as well as we could have done it then, except you can take money out of reserves. We would have had to recommend taking money out of the reserves. We couldn't have committed it because we don't have that authority. So
Right.
That's where we are.
And so the applicant's here as well. Mr. Deputy, you want to come forward at this time? You've heard the statements from staff at this time. Do you have anything for the commission?
917, Sam Deputy, 917 Carr Street. Boy, I love what Don Holmes is saying, because on this side of the counter, policy is rather difficult to see through at times. So having a clear-cut policy with these things would be a breath of air, and I appreciate that see-through. And I want to say thank you, because I've done the parade 17 years, and last year's parade went absolutely great. I honestly do not remember saying I would never do it again. During COVID, I know that, because I took a lot of flack during COVID for not having the parade. And I know you say, you catch it if the train jumps the track, but the year the twerking came down, my phone burned for days. Of course, when they passed me, they weren't twerking, but a block later, they were twerking. And you can't walk with each group to see what they're doing. But the parade is going on, and we do have a sponsor. The money has come through from this community. Yes, at the meeting, we were told that there wasn't a co-sponsorship with the money, and they came up with a sum for us to pay. And we've done that. One of the checks has already come into the city for that, and we'll pay the rest when we get the final bill. So it's moving forward. Angels will be our sponsor.
A gracious donation from Mr. Brown and $3,000.
Yes, very, very much. Eat it, and we are. So we do appreciate that, because for 17 years, you have helped out with that parade and have provided our police and our sanitation and cleanup. I even remember the year Jonathan Griffith had the blower and the rake out there on Friday or Saturday morning cleaning. So you've done a great job, and we do appreciate that very much. I do love the fact that citizens have stepped forward. I do love the fact that they're working, because the more community involvement that we have in any project, the better our community is. So we're okay. We're not unhappy. We're not anything. We're moving forward, and we're recruiting, and I will be putting your registration forms with Sonny's desk to fill out for your participation. So I thank you.
Well, I'll say this. I will say I'm unhappy. I'm unhappy that anytime there is a situation such as this, I read about it in a newspaper. And as you were making the assertions that the city had denied the opportunity for us to have a Christmas parade and the sponsorship for that, did you contact any of the commissioners and speak to them as it pertained to this issue?
I thought at the beginning that the decision came because I'm at the special events meeting, and I was told the city would no longer be a sponsor. Frankly, I sat there and thought, oh, they made that decision. In my mind, I'm thinking I've got 10 weeks to put on a parade and raise the funds for that. That was my assumption.
So that means you were mistaken in your assumption?
Well, I'm on this side of the counter at a special events meeting, and so I'm just saying that's how I took it.
But as you sit on that side of the podium, do you see it as a mistaken assumption?
It was, as it turned out to be, yes. But at that meeting, that was what I thought, because I did not know where that had come from. I assumed it came from.
You simply came from me, right?
No, of course not. I would never, because I know that the mayor's position does not have that authority. So I mean, I know that. That would have to come from the commission. I truly did not know. I just knew that I needed to raise $3,332 in addition to putting forth the parade at 10 Weeks Out. So that's where I was. And I have never said that the city commission denied that or denied the idea of a Christmas parade, because I didn't think that would be on the table. I just knew I needed to get done what I needed to get done, and I needed to start. And so we have raised the funds.
So
Now, did I start all the activity on Facebook? No, I'm not a Facebook activity person. I'm on there just very, very rarely. I don't do those things because that's not productive. It's just not productive.
you can stir a pot with a tablespoon.
You can. I agree with that, but that was not me, and I don't accept that. I just know that I'm working on the Christmas parade, and we will see that take place, and I hope your participation will be there.
Well, Mr. Deputy, I remember distinctively you coming in last year and saying that you were retiring from the festival business and from the parade business. We're glad to see that you chose not to retire.
Yes.
And the Palatka Daily News actually stepped up. They were the ones who said that they would take over the parade last year when you said you wouldn't. And the editor and the publisher were actually here at the meeting when that took place. The change of heart is a good thing. You've been doing it for many years, but I think there's an opportunity for succession planning as we move forward for the day that you actually retire. It's so that this community will not have a void moving forward. That's the beauty of collaboration. In a small community such as this commission as a whole is very accessible. You see me at the coffee shop regularly. You see many of these other commissioners at local businesses very near your business. And so we would hope that when things such as this come forward, that you take the opportunity to let us talk to you and get answers so that we don't find ourselves making false assumptions or mistaken assumptions based upon lack of information or inaccurate information. Because what that does in a community such as ours, when we're moving forward in so many ways, is it does stir pots, and it stirs them very quickly and for unnecessarily, because at the end of the day, when it comes to this commission, we are lovers of the community as a whole. And I can tell you the most Christmassy person in this room sits to my far right. And so, it is, it's an opportunity for us all to collaborate.
Wait, are you talking about me or
towards
Sonny?
moving things forward. We're excited about we've even funded snow in the community this year. And so we're glad that we've had, even out of confusion, sometimes doors open. And so we have citizens such as Mr. Browning who are willing to be supporters and to be sponsors of this type of event.
And we have, in addition, we've had others, Revitalize Downtown, Radio Red, we've had others that have donated to this so that, because what we received was a quote, and we're not quite sure. And in speaking to Ms. Hughes, we found out that the city of Palatka, I think, has made by ordinance that the Christmas parade does not pay a permit.
Correct.
So we don't have to pay the permit, which is a wonderful thing. So out of all things, good comes out, and I agree with that. I do believe this year's participation will equal our previous year's participation. And so, yes, we're looking forward to a good evening on that.
All things work for the good.
That's right.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Davis, there's a written copy of the rules I'm proposing policy for the future.
So thank you. One of the things I'm excited about is the fact that we have rules. Rules is written and rules is applied. I've got one. I'll let Commissioner Borum speak.
I have one comment, yes. As it relates to the Christmas parade, it's been a long-standing thing with the city. The city's had it, and again, it's very well attended every year. Again, we went from 30 something to 40 participants up to 200 and something spots. So, and it's been a thing that our community look for every year, no different than the Blue Crab Festival, no different than the Azalea Festival. And so I think in my mind, I would like to just reject those, reject the funds that's been sent to the city, because the city has been there for this Christmas parade in previous years, even though it may have been out of the budget last year. I mean, I'm just learning that anytime there's a change, I mean, I'm not looking at line item by line item. So when we have changes like that, I think we need to make sure that we understand and know in terms of funding things. I'm not looking at every line out of my line, and these are big things: the Azalea Festival, Christmas parades, and among other things. So I wholeheartedly supported it from the time. I never missed not a single Christmas parade. And so learning what I've learned through Facebook, through the newspaper, it deeply saddened me. And like I said, I would have taken the remaining funds from my campaign that and would have paid for, as well as using personal funds. And that's where I was with it. If the city didn't want to do, in terms of putting those funds out there, and we can recoup those. It's only $4,000. So my thing is, it's a small bucket for what we get. I'm looking at the overall cost benefit. And so I think it's well worth it. And we should not be bickering about that small amount of money. And I'm just wholeheartedly supportive of it. And what we got going forward, I think we can do better. So I just want to put that out there.
Any other comments from the commission at this time?
I just want to mention that I spoke to Mr. Deputy also after reading the newspaper. Actually, I received a phone call complaining about the commission not supporting the Christmas parade, in which they personally said they got the information from Mr. Deputy. I called Mr. Deputy and I wanted to acknowledge that we did not have a vote on the situation. It hadn't come to us, as we just now are probably making it public. But the perception was what the paper said. The paper said that the commission pulled out, the city pulled out. The city didn't pull out. It was pretty much special events, and we're not pointing fingers, but I'm just saying it did not come to us for the approval. I'm in full support as Commissioner Borum to have the Christmas parade, to sponsor it. To be honest with you, I thought that we as a city sponsored it in whole up to this point. I didn't know it was the Downtown Inc. that actually sponsored it. But the co-sponsor seemed like the financial part actually just was handed to the city. And I am in agreement of, if we do co-sponsor it, we actually have a seat at the table. So I just wanted to say that and go on record with that.
And I'll say this and I'll be done. I know that we were even met with resistance from Mr. Deputy on some other events last year. And we know that, again, like Mr. Holmes made the statement of, we wanted to put several things into play as far as protocol and procedures so that we would not appear to not be consistent when we are doing events. And I'm very much in remembrance of the conversation and the dialogue that took place surrounding the parade and the lack of wanting to continue by Mr. Deputy. But I'm too disappointed that we were to this point. My phone rang nonstop. I was tagged on Facebook groups, and still to this day, for something that I had no knowledge of. And for me, I would like to see that corrected just as well as it was put out there by the newspaper and those who were speaking ill against the commission, knowing that we are a part of the parade. And again, the decision did not come from us, but again, we did put in staff hand the opportunity to put in protocol and procedures, and that's what they did.
Mr. McCaskill.
My phone rang as well, but when I found out the source, I was not disappointed, was not surprised. I just said some things never change.
Thank you, Mr. Cartwright. I've got one speaker card. I want to have Ms. Kitchens come forward, and then we'll bring you back, Mr. Cartwright, for any final remarks that you have before I make my remarks.
Allegra Kitchens, 1027 South 12th Street, Palatka, Florida. Mr. Deputy did not contact me. I heard it from another source in this city before I read it in the paper. And as a former commissioner and as someone who's watched the commission since 1987, been actively involved as a citizen and as an elected official, and am again actively involved as a citizen, I was aghast. The first thing I said to the person was, well, I go to all the city commission meetings. It's not been on the agenda. The commission has not voted on it. And I was aghast that the commission was bypassed. Now, what Mr. Holmes suggested is wonderful stuff. It's great. He always comes up with really good plans that are really professional. However, they should be instituted next year, and you all shouldn't have been blindsided, and the citizens should have been blindsided. This was a public relations nightmare. Now, just a couple of points. As to say you're retiring, I've been on my class of 1965 reunion committee since 1985. 85, 90, 95, 90, 2005, 2010, 2005, 2015, 2020. 9 times I've been the chairman and worked on that reunion committee. Would you care to guess how many times I've said I'm never doing it again? 9 times. Every time it's over, the night of the reunion, I say, this is it. I'm never doing it again.
So you didn't retire, you were just tired.
That's the whole point. When you're working that hard, you get really tired and you say you're never going to do it again. But that's just the way you talk. And as far as the amount of money, if the downtown CRA can afford $25,000 and then $30,000 for lights, little over 3,000 is a drop in the bucket, for heaven's sakes. That's just nothing. But my main issue is that this did not come to the commission. I've seen parades come to the commission for years and years and years and years for you to get permission. This should have come to you first, then gone to the city staff. And now once this policy Mr. Holmes is talking about, once that gets stated, then fine, but it still needs to come to you. You need to make the final decision, not the city staff saying, okay, this is it. Because that looks bad on every one of you. I knew that you all were not guilty of anything. Staff wasn't guilty of anything except maybe being short-sighted and not thinking politically, which is not a crime unless you're an elected official or unless you're an employee of an elected official. However, I'll again say I was aghast. I knew that you all hadn't done it because I knew it hadn't. I said, what? Have I been asleep? Have I missed it on the agenda? I watched the agenda. Did I step out of the room? Did I go to the bathroom and they talked about it and I was out of the room for 5 minutes? I was totally flabbergasted.
You know we didn't talk about it.
I know you didn't, but I was just totally flabbergasted and I did as much damage control as I could. But I just want you all to know that the plan that Mr. Holmes has in line is good for the future. Shouldn't have been happened this time. Worst time in the possible world it could happen during an election year. And I would hope that you might think about reimbursing the wonderful, generous, kind Mr. John Browning for the money that he's donated very graciously to the parade. Thank you.
You know, the interesting thing about that, Ms. Kitchens, is this.
Interesting things.
In the midst of confusion, it seems that in this community, people step up and they come together. And what we saw out of miscalculated assumptions was a community of leaders and business owners who came together for the greater good of humanity and for those kids to have a parade without it costing the city a penny. Business owners on a regular basis are going to benefit from people stacking the street, estimated attendance at 17,500 based upon the documents I read. So if 17,500 citizens from Putnam County crowd the streets of Palatka and downtown, I'm sure that we business owners who are located on the streets of downtown Palatka can come up with $3,000 to make sure that this community thrives. It's called skin in the game. As a business owner, I'd love to be one of those people who could put a little skin in the game and watch Palatka go where it didn't have to come out of the budget because it came out of the hearts of business owners who thrive off of and make a living off of money that comes from folks who are patrons on a regular basis, and it gives the patrons and their children an opportunity to do something good. So in the midst of confusion, what I saw was the troops rallying to make it happen. And so I don't ever want to discourage that because we get donations for the fireworks. And it's a great event that brings over 20,000 people into downtown Palatka. And there are folks that benefit from it who have businesses in downtown Palatka. And we don't think anything about it because what we're trying to do is take those little pennies from when you were on this commission. We're taking those little pennies and we're stretching them to make dollars. And we're trying to put it all together collaboratively so that there are true partnerships. And so I don't want to discourage Mr. Browning because what Mr. Browning did, he did from his heart. But there's an opportunity for us to reach out to more Mr. Brownings throughout the community and make sure that the Christmas parade is bigger and better than everybody ever envisioned, because there was never a vision for it to be a sponsored parade. I looked at a picture that was in our package that said the Coca-Cola Christmas parade. And if Coca-Cola was sponsoring it back then, why aren't we looking for sponsors today? Because it's an opportunity for our businesses to advertise, to have their name out, and for them to participate even more. And so I think that in the midst of the miss write-up, we'll call it that, the one that I hope that's going to be retracted. And that little tablespoon that stirred that pot, what it did was it brought everything together so that there was a whole meal. And we're going to be much better as a community because Mary Lawson Brown always said we're better together. And because people came together in Palatka, the Gem City of St. Johns River, this thing is going to work out even better. So now money's being raised. Nobody can say they don't have enough resources to make it happen. And we can take that money and devote it to this event and make it better for the kids. And so that's going to be the best part of the whole thing for me.
Mayor, you're right. And even as you speak, people are donating money right now and not aware maybe that Mr. Browning donated, and that money can be used for next year's parade. And you touched on something very, very important. Putnam County and Palatka may not be the wealthiest county or city, but what we have is heart. This is a small example where the community has come together to do a parade for children. But whenever somebody is in need, when they need surgery, or they need any kind of help, Putnam County and Palatka are the #1 donators for the March of Dimes, for the Relay for Life. We give our money, we put the little bit of money we have, we help people, we care. We have a heart in this community, like you said. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. All right, at this time, you've heard the comments. Mr. Cutright, do you have anything in closing before we move on with this item?
I just want to clarify one statement that Sam Deputy said. He said that he was unsure about in the meeting about it was not a commission decision. That is not true. It was told to him verbatim from me that it was a city manager, city attorney, and staff decision. So he knew leading out that meeting that it was not a commissioner decision.
It was in the newspaper that Mr. Holmes, our city manager, specifically stated that it was not the commission's decision. He did say that. So.
Well, let's put the tablespoon down and let's keep moving. So at this point, thank you, sir. And at the end of the day, I think we charge our staff with being fiscally responsible and making sure they do what's best for the citizens as a whole. And they do that and they bring recommendations forward. And when they bring those recommendations forward, we're elected to be able to vote yes or no. We won't always agree with staff, but there are times that we will agree with them. And I think that in this situation, they made best efforts to ensure that the greater good was put in place and that there was a process that was meaningful, that moved us forward. And so the recommendation had insight, and then follow-up from it also had insights as to how we can create a unified process to give people the rules, and the rules be the same for everybody who walks through the door. So again, let's move forward at this time. I'll entertain a motion as it pertains to this item.
There was already a motion on the floor, sir.
The motion on the floor is to approve staff recommendation, and there's a second on it. Is there anything else that we need to discuss as to the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next up. Item number 7 on the agenda is to adopt legislative priorities for 2022-2023. You've had an opportunity to see the priorities that were put before us. And we will go through, let me go through those priorities so that we won't belabor the point. It's the potable water main line replacement, has a value of $7 million. All those things are interchangeable. We know that our water lines dated back to 1886. There were 62 linear miles of critical water lines that needed to be replaced at one point. We replaced approximately 25 miles of potable water lines at this time, 66. And so this gives us an opportunity to look at 7 more miles. Where are you at, sir? Have a question, Commissioner? We're on item 7 of the agenda. which is the legislative priorities for 2022. What's your question? Okay. Sewer lining is one item that we also have in there at $2.4 million. And that's to deal with I&I. Number 3, these are suggested priorities. Many of them are repeats from what we've done in the past. Septic to sewer conversion and city enclaves at 2.47 million. If you remember, that was one of the areas where we asked for appropriations last year in an effort to try to deal with some of the most visible enclaves. Palatka Gas Authority expansion and upgrade of $265,000. And number 5 was a potable water expansion of $6 million. One of the things that I wanted to also have us consider was affordable housing, which was a priority that we've had for a number of years. We had it listed as our 3rd priority for many years. I think there is a great opportunity for us to look at an affordable housing strategy so that, and to be able to provide housing, some housing rehab as well as housing replacement throughout the community, and to put forth an opportunity for those to be priorities as we move forward, considering the housing stock that we have in place at this time. Anything else from the commission? Any thoughts, concerns as it relates to the recommended list?
Those are top issues. But on the affordable house thing, on affordable houses, I think we gotta look at more when we talk about affordable housing and what does that mean and what does it look like? It goes based off your wages. And when you look at the median income for Putnam County and surrounding areas and the state, we fall way below that. And so like many other communities like Pahokee and Opelika, all those areas like that, when your wages are flat and everything else is increasing, I mean, again, we went from building a home from $70 a square foot to $350 a square foot. So what does that look like and what does it mean when we say affordable housing? We have to, it's more complicated than we're saying we're going to put in affordable houses these days now. What you got back in 2009 or 10, it's almost double or triple. So we need to, I think, take a step back and look at what we, the complicated thing as it relates to affordable housing.
So my definition of affordable housing is affordable, sustainable workforce housing, which allows our essential workers to have a place in which they can reside, live, and play. And as we look at AMI and things of that nature, I think there are other critical pieces to the puzzle besides just AMI. If you look at the housing sales that you've had in Putnam County over the last few months, you're seeing average prices of about $238,000. You're seeing an increase in wages, which is evidenced by what we did with our salary study. But I definitely agree that affordable housing in its most used context lacks definition and clarity as to how it's put in place. But I think for us, and the place that Palatka is going to have its niche is being able to create workforce housing for individuals who can no longer live in St. Johns County because the median home price is $500,000, or they can't live in Clay or some of the other surrounding counties, but they've got an opportunity to come to Palatka and buy a home with a greater footprint at half the price. And that's going to allow them to be able to raise families here, to be able to spend money here, to shop here, to do a whole bunch of other things. So I agree that the definition is sometimes vague, but I think when you put forth the affordable housing strategies that go along with that, then you start to get the context. And so I definitely think that as we move forward on those things, we can do that.
So is it something that we want to add to the priority list or put in lieu of something here?
No, it was
I'm not opposed to adding it.
No, we added it because it was there before. It was actually a priority for many years before. And nothing stops us from being able to add it and create appropriations requests as it relates to housing. And I think that's going to be a very critical piece as we start to see the increase in the increase in residents moving to this community. Because right now, we don't get the opportunity to really have middle management individuals here, or we don't have the opportunity for individuals who are looking for homes as their first home. The housing stock is low. We've had more building done in the last year than we had over the last 10 years, but at the same time, we still need a greater housing stock for individuals who are here. We've got a lot of renters who are paying max rent. We're starting to see increase in market rate apartments coming to the community. We just saw the sale of the cottages as opposed to some of the other places. And so the opportunity is here now, and we don't want to be the community that's not ahead of the curve as it relates to housing. And we find ourselves in a situation where our first responders and many of the critical workers can't afford to live in Palatka because we didn't put forth the plan or the strategies to make that happen. And I think that's where we're headed. Any other?
So we're adding, we do need to add affordable housing to the list.
I've made the notation.
Right, yeah, because it is a priority of the Transportation and Intergovernmental Relations Policy Committee. So we certainly that would be a
Mr.
plus.
Mr. Mayor and Commission, do you want to tell us at what location you'd like to add it, and where you'd like to rank it?
We just put on a list. I think we put it on the list, and as we begin to as we prepare in the next few months, we can prioritize where it ranks.
Okay.
And because we'll I think we're going to have greater insights on
6 right now.
on the resources that are there.
Well, I think it need to be higher than 6. It's got to be 1, 2, 3.
I think it should be at least 3.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
The lowest.
But is this the rank? Are we ranking these, or are they just
I
enumerated?
just thought that we were adding it, and he said we can come back and prioritize at a later date.
But why? When we could do it
We
right
can
now?
do it
Okay,
now.
we can do it now. Sure. Y'all wanted it at number 3.
Well, it got to be at the top 3, in my opinion. This is
Right.
my opinion.
I agree with that.
Top 3.
So I'll say number 3, and then we just move 3, the current 3 on down. Good?
I really want to put it.
Okay.
Remember, with the legislative process, as opportunities exist and as there's more funding in certain pots, the money changes and the priorities change based upon what's there. Availability oftentimes dictates what you get funded for. Anything else that we need to add to this list or consider? We have a representative we have a lobbyist on the phone. Ms. Shields, you have anything you want to add? It's always good to have you.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Loud and clear.
No, I have nothing to add. Just looking forward to getting things started for the next session. We've definitely been paying attention to what has been most important for everyone. As far, I think one of the big things is infrastructure this year. But we'll also see what the Speaker of the House, what his plans and what his agenda is. And then we will report back to you and see how we can, focus on these priorities.
Okay, and again, thank you for a great session, wonderful outcomes for the city of Palatka. And we are excited about the work that Becker Polikoff is doing for us. And we definitely appreciate you and your attentiveness to this commission when we seek opportunities for the city of Palatka.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure to work with you guys. Always a pleasure.
Anything else from the commission? Any adjustments and rankings? Mr. Griffith, we see you just logged on. Anything? Anything else, sir? We're glad to have you here.
talk
We
to
need
you.
to, can you put that list back up for us just one last time? No one is allowed to leave this room anymore. No. So are we fine with the list at this point? So is there a motion from you, Commissioner Campbell?
Yes, sir.
There's a motion to adopt the
Second.
priorities as listed. Second by Commissioner McCaskill. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Good luck, Mr. Griffin.
Caught me off.
Next up, discussion and direction, Department of Economic Opportunity Recovery Housing Program Grant Cycle. Are you taking Ms. Tucker?
Yes, I am here.
Yes, ma'am. Can you give us a quick
So
summary?
yes, quick summary. The Department of Economic Opportunity has put out for a recovery housing program. They have committed, or they've received 1.6 million statewide allocated funding. Each application has a 500,000 minimum per request. So it's a very low allotment for the state. The money has to be specifically spent to provide stable temporary housing to individuals in recovery from substance use disorders. If you look at the attachment, there's a list of different activities that can be used for, as long as it's for individuals in recovery.
1.6 million, not very much to go around 413 cities. So,
That's exactly right.
Mr. Griffith, he's still here.
For now. Mayor, Commissioners, so we put this on the agenda when we first saw the notebook come across our desk. After further review, we don't believe there's a high likelihood of getting funded, but we did want to leave it on the agenda because we thought affordable housing or housing just in general, we know you wanted to discuss it at some point. And with your previous comments, I may suggest that maybe we reach out to North Florida Regional Planning Council and DEO to see if they would be willing to do a workshop in the near future to maybe give us all a little bit of a refresher of the different strategies that we take as an organization.
We've got some other individuals as well. I actually was a panelist for a workshop with some other housing specialists as well, who will be willing to come forward and provide information as well.
Just to conclude my comments on this, Mayor, I'm not recommending that we put an application together. It's not likely that we'll get funding, and it's very specific eligible activities.
I think the rehab housing is a worthwhile endeavor, but I absolutely agree with the pot of money that's in place and the cost for construction at this time. It's not necessarily high on my priority list. Any other comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion for recommendation. I'm sorry, you can come forward. 30 seconds.
I apologize for being misnumbered, but the agenda got numbered again after I got the second amended agenda. Allegra Kitchens, 1027 South 12th Street, Palatka, Florida. When I first looked at this, I thought, okay, this has to do with housing. But if you look on page 2 of the information, what Ms. Tucker read you was correct. However, it says note, operating costs, staff pay, and planning only activities are not eligible for RHP funding. That means you would be in charge of the whole kit and caboodle. Let me refresh the memories of those who were not here when there have been 3 different substance abuse places in Palatka. One of them in 1985, which you all know is the Hotel James. Jack Allen had that. That was a mess. Then it moved out to what was called the Arlington House, which is now Vintage Care on Moody Road. There were numerous calls for service to the building itself. There was a rape, there was battery, there was assault, there was drug dealing, there was arson. And those are just the top ones off the top of my head. Then the adjoining areas by the people that were in the recovery for temporary housing to the college, St. John's River State College, Woody's Barbecue, Waltz and then Woody's, CVS, Publix. It was a nightmare. The police were run ragged. The sheriff's department was run ragged. Back up to the 90s, there was a little recovery house on the corner of Kirby Street and Dodge Street, run by a lovely lady named Virginia Blue. She was murdered by one of these recovery people. Now, I am not downing recovery people. I've had family members who have lived and died and had substance abuse. I've had some that have recovered. We do not need that kind of a nightmare in the city of Palatka, or even in Putnam County. We do not need it in the city of Palatka. Please, if this comes back to you, you can have workshops out there. Well, never mind. You can have workshops coming in everywhere. Do not allow a substance abuse recovery house in the city of Palatka. This is not mental health like Mr. Best is always talking about. This is substance recovery. Do not allow it. You will be sorry. You will regret it. The crime will be horrible. Thank you.
Is there anyone else here to speak on this issue? If not, we'll go ahead and close public comment on this issue at this time. I'll entertain a motion. There's a motion to accept staff's recommendation not to apply. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Is there any further discussion that relates to this motion? Seeing none, questions called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Moving on to item 10 of the agenda, discussion and direction, city manager and city attorney search.
We missed none.
I'm sorry, number 9. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped one. Adopt resolution 2022 R173, authorizing the mayor to execute and the city clerk to attest to a contract with the professional firefighters of Palatka Union.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution 2022 R173, a resolution of the city of Palatka, Florida, authorizing the mayor to execute and the city clerk to attest a contract agreement with the professional firefighters of Palatka Local 2992, effective October 1, 2022 through September 30th, 2025, and providing for scrivener's errors.
Mr. Mayor, before anyone makes a motion, can I speak?
You're gonna speak about how fast you just read?
No, I wasn't.
So I'll go ahead and refer to the senior counsels at the table to my left. Go ahead, Mr. Manager and Counsel.
As the commission knows, we've been involved in negotiations with the firefighters union representatives for a few weeks now. We came to the point where we have a contract terms, or we have contract terms, with the exception of one issue, and that issue has to do with longevity pay. Right now, under the city existing firefighter union contract, there's longevity clause that adds 5% to the base pay of each firefighter on their attaining their 10-year anniversary, and then 5 additional percent to the base pay on each 5-year anniversary thereafter. Of course, then that's in addition to COLA and whatever else might be happening. That a similar clause is in your general employees personnel policy, or the old one at least. When we adopted the compensation and pay plan some months ago, there was a lot of conversation about whether or not, since we had adopted that plan, it was time for us to take out the automatic 5% increases to base for the city employees. You haven't had a chance to make that decision. That a lot of things have been going on. We did not want, the team that is working on behalf from the city's perspective in the negotiations, to engage in or enter a 3-year contract, which included that longevity pay bump, and then have the city determine at some point that it was going to take that longevity pay premium out of the pay for the general employees. So what we're going to ask to do is we're going to ask not to approve the contract, and we couldn't really approve it because the contract we submitted doesn't have the longevity pay in it to the firefighters. They want the longevity pay in it. So at this point, what we would like to do is go ahead. We won't meet the October 1 deadline, but they'll continue to operate, or the rule is that you continue to operate under the old contract. In the meantime, we'd like to have so they'll be operating under the terms of the old contract, firefighter union contract. Meantime, we'd like to have a workshop with the commission on the issue of the longevity pay, and have you have an opportunity to, it's a fairly complicated issue when you start talking about and thinking about, if you don't have longevity pay, then are you talking about having merit pay? If you have merit pay, is it based upon evaluations? Are you going to have inconsistencies in evaluations based upon the fact that you might have different department heads looking at things differently? So we'd like to have the commission weigh in on that decision so that we can be consistent across the board. So long way of saying that we'd like to pass this item tonight or continue it and schedule a workshop for the commission to consider specifically the issue of longevity pay as it affects both the general employees and the firefighters.
Is there a recommendation for a date certain?
I think we're gonna have to sound the commission to find out when they're available. We'd like to do it as soon as possible.
So as to when we bring this back or how soon, or would you rather us go ahead and just get with the commission to schedule the workshop and then bring it back soon thereafter?
Yes, sir. I'd like to do that.
Because you heard staff's recommendation. Council, you're in agreement, obviously, by your nodding. You heard staff's recommendation as it pertains to this issue. Do we have anyone here from the firefighters union? Spokesperson? Seeing nobody. At this point, you've heard the recommendation from our manager as well as from council. Is there any comment, any further comments at this time or a motion?
Yes, sir.
We'll make a motion to table this item and table the item, formulate a workshop with the commission prior to proceeding.
There's a motion on the floor and a second by Commissioner Jones. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Questions called, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Moving on to item 10, city manager and city attorney search. I had this placed on the agenda. We are at a point where both the city manager and the city attorney are very close to retiring and transitioning. I won't say that there's going to be a real retirement because I think they're both workaholics. But I think that they've indicated their intent to transition from their current positions. And I think it's beneficial for us. We've got Ms. Thomas will be contractually in place until February. Is that when your contract ends? May, I'm sorry. So May for both of you. May for both of you.
Well, she may disagree with that, but
She's trying to retire sooner. We took her out of retirement. But there's an opportunity for us, I think, more than anything else, to put ourselves in a position where, unlike in the past, we have overlap and we have an opportunity for there to be transition, which allows for information to be in place without a scramble. And we wanted to bring this to the commission. My recommendation is that we immediately move forward with getting a search, getting a search started. We've got the blueprint. It's not something that we're strangers at, and it allows us to be put in a position where at the beginning of the calendar year, we can be close to selection and at least be in interviewing posture. Any comments or thoughts from the commission?
I'm certainly on board with it. I mean, I think we need to do it in God's speed. And if I would say, if we can get somebody in prior to, if we get the candidates, that the transition will be smoother, in terms of allowing for those individuals to work with our both city manager and city attorney in terms of what their current workload is, and it'll be a smooth transition as opposed to just a hard stop and then somebody starting cold turkey. I mean, I would like to, if it can happen like that, that'll be my recommendation at least.
Any other comments?
I also have thoughts along the same lines where we could possibly hire in replacements and they'd be here for 30 to 45 days hired on, so that the transition would be smooth. And they could pick up where we left off. I spoke to both attorney and city manager in reference to this, and they were in agreement. But I guess it's up to the commission but it's gonna be 60, 45, or 30 days. Also, I think we should consider, and Ms. Thomas was mentioning about the workload of even considering hiring a law firm going forward. Consider the cost, see what it costs us, because we have the fire department, we have the police department, then we have day-to-day operations where an attorney have to stop what they're doing and get on the things, and one person can't keep up with it. And that's just something I think going forward, we should think about. If I recall, I think you guys had that one time before, a long time ago, but not you guys, but I'm saying the city. So that's something I also wanted to throw out there and see, we like to consider that as we go looking for a firm or a headhunter, whatever that we're trying to do to get these replacements in. And I like that we're forward thinking in this transition.
When you say you said hiring the firm to conduct the search, to conduct the search?
No.
For legal counsel?
Attorney for the legal.
On retainer?
For the legal work, I know it's costly. I mean, that's something we consider the cost of having a firm.
A firm can be one person.
Pardon me?
A law firm can be one person.
Right, so
And
it
so
can be one person but I think it's already been expressed that one person can't keep up with what we have as far as demands. I mean, we had an attorney now and an ex-attorney for the city that has expressed that, and if we're listening, I think that's something we should consider.
Will we tap into the legal cities? I mean, the legal cities?
So what I'll say is this, I guess I'll keep my legal opinion to myself for right now. Keep going. Any other comments from the commission as it relates to the search?
We would require an RFP or RFQ for our search firm.
Unless the bids are below the threshold and we can get 3 bids.
On a professional service, don't we have to go into Professional Services Negotiation Act for the RFQ? Madam City Attorney?
We took bids.
I'm the ex-attorney.
We took bids. We did it with bids last time. Headhunter.
Yeah, for headhunter, it would be quotes unless it exceeds the threshold, which is at what now?
25,000.
2 quotes up to 25.
2 quotes up to 25.
Yes, sir. One for each search, I mean.
They're two distinct searches, so you can do them separately and not have a cumulative amount.
They don't fall under the Professional Negotiations Act.
No, they're not covered under CC.
Okay. I'm sorry. Sorry, Sonny, I didn't put the mic close enough.
So I think that the ability to get quotes, puts us in a position where we can expedite the process and kind of move forward, and then have the commission select from the companies and take recommendations as well. That's just one opinion. What's the pleasure of this commission? The RFP process is going to put us another 60 days out.
It would. She's going to stay with me, and I'm going to stay until May unless we get enough vacation time to leave earlier. But we're evolving. Do not watch Serena Williams's.
They love They love their jobs.
I seen Miss Val light up like the sun, like the sun.
I can tell you, talking her into unretiring was a task in itself, but I think it's been a joy. So, what's the pleasure of the commission? Any thoughts on getting quotes?
I say let's move forward as fast. I mean, Godspeed. I mean, we need to move forward so we can relieve them of their labor to the city, because it's coming to a close. So we don't want to abrupt stop and start. So, and then it'll be a smooth transition for other people who
We
we
also want
consider
to,
bringing
and
in.
we also want to include the league in those as well.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, the league
Okay.
should be, we should tap into the league.
Okay, I will entertain a motion. So there's a motion for us to get two separate quotes for the positions from headhunting firms, as well as contact the Florida League of Cities and have them participate in the process.
I'll make a motion that we move forward.
It's already made by Commissioner Campbell. We
Oh,
just need a
second.
second. Got a second?
Second.
We got a motion on the floor and a second. Is there any further discussion on the motion?
Question.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Okay,
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much.
let's move.
Next up, public hearings. Item number 11A, second public hearing, trim calendar, fiscal year 2022-23.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. Resolution 2022-R171, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Palatka, Putnam County, Florida, adopting the final budget for the fiscal year 2022-2023, providing for severability, providing for an effective date, providing for scrivener's errors.
So move.
This motion on the floor in a second. Ms. Shank.
I promise I'd stay on script and you go first.
Here we are. This is our final hearing as it relates to fiscal year 2022-2023, final millage rates and budget. We're now going to open up our public hearing for the fiscal year 2022-2023 final budget. The City of Palatka convenes the final public hearing on the City of Palatka fiscal year 2022-2023 final millage rates and final budget as required by Florida statutes, chapters 129 and 200. If anyone in our audience is here for the purposes of contesting their property value assessments, a petition for adjustment with the Value Adjustment Commission shall have been filed by 5 p.m. September 13th, 2022, as stated in the trim notices sent via first-class mail by the property appraiser to each taxpayer on the property tax roll. This evening, we will take a number of actions related to the adoption of the final millage rates and the budgets for fiscal year 2022-2023. For those in attendance this evening wishing to address the commission, citizens' comments will be taken following the overview of the final budget.
Mayor and Commissioners, the purpose of this, the second of two public hearings, is to adopt the final millage rates and budget for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2023. It was corrected and properly advertised within the Palatka Daily News on Wednesday, September 21st, 2022. The trim process requires that a notice of tax increase be advertised when the current year proposed aggregate millage rate exceeds the calculated aggregate rolled back millage rate, and the city has done this. The total city final budget for fiscal year 2022-2023 is presented within this agenda's backup. The total of $69,604,669 has the following changes from the tentative budget adopted by the commission during the first public hearing held on September 8th, 2022. Recognition of all ad valorem proceeds in the general fund and not broken out into the TIF fund as required by the Department of Revenue. 2 additional part-time employees for the airport and 1 full-time code enforcement officer. Project carry forward balance adjustments. $50,000 for the Hank Bryan restrooms in the Better Place Fund, and additional recruitment and advertisement efforts. I'm happy to answer any questions pertaining to the final millage rate or on the budget before you at this time.
Are there any general questions or comments from the commission related to the final millage rate or the final budget? Seeing no questions, we'll move forward at this time. Ms. Shank.
The trim and millage legislation, or the trim, requires that the taxing authority, the millage rate to be levied, the rolled back rate, and the percentage change over rolled back rate be publicly announced. Accordingly, fiscal year 2022-2023, the aggregate proposed operating millage for the city of Palatka citywide levy is 6.4000 mils, which is 21.309% greater than the rolled back rate of 5.2758 mils. Additionally, Florida statutes require the commission to adopt final millage rates prior to adopting the related budget. Before you is resolution number 2022 R-171, a resolution to adopt the final millage rates for the fiscal year ending September 30, 2023, pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 200 Florida statutes, providing for conflicts and severability and providing for an effective date. This resolution includes the general fund millage of 6.4000, which is unchanged from the prior fiscal year.
So at this time, we already have a motion and a second, Ms. Krantz.
Yes, but I had read the caption for the fund for the budget. Should I read the caption for the millage at this time? Thank you.
Let me have you read the caption.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Palatka, Florida, Putnam County, Florida, adopting the final operating millage rate for the purpose of levying ad valorem taxes for the City of Palatka, Putnam County for fiscal year 2022-23, providing for scrivener's errors.
So second.
So there's a motion on the floor in a second. At this time, we're going to open the floor for public comment. Is there anyone here for public comment on the motion that's on the floor? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Is there any further discussion from the commission? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next up is the adoption of resolution 2022 R-172, adopting the fiscal year 2022-23 final city budget.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution of the City Commission of the City of Palatka, Putnam County, Florida, adopting the final budget for fiscal year 2022-2023, providing for severability, providing for an effective date, providing for scrivener's errors.
Second.
Shane.
Mayor and Commissioner, subsequent to the commission adopting the final millage rate is to adopt the corresponding final budget. Before you is resolution number 2022 R-172, a resolution to adopt the final budget for fiscal year ending September 30, 2022, in the amount of $69,604,669 pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 200 Florida statutes, providing for conflicts and severability and providing for an effective date.
So move.
It's already moved. It was already moved.
So I
Wait,
approved it.
Twice.
It was already moved in the same manner. We'll now open the floor for public hearing at this time. Is there anyone here for public comment as it pertains to the resolution that's before you? Seeing no one, we will close public comment. Is there any unreadiness from the commission? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Mayor, staff requests permission for the commission authorizing the city manager to execute the ministerial documents required to complete the millage rate and budget adoption process required by Florida statute.
I'll entertain a motion to authorize city manager to execute the documents for completion of the budget process.
So move.
There's a motion by Commissioner Campbell. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second by Commissioner Bora. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously.
Mayor and commissioners, the city of Palatka has completed the annual budget adoption process for fiscal year 2022-2023. All requirements as mandated by Florida law have been met. Thank you and congratulations for adopting your budget and keeping a flat millage rate.
Thank you.
This concludes the second and final public hearing to adopt the fiscal year 23 city budget as required by Florida law. Moving on to item 11B in ordinance 2022-23, amending appendix A.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ordinance number 2022-23, an ordinance of the City of Palatka, Florida, amending appendix A fee schedule, the municipal code of the City of Palatka, Florida, as it pertains to fees and other charges relating to Chapter 50 Parks and Recreation, Chapter 54 Planning, Chapter 66 Solid Waste, Chapter 74 Subdivisions, Chapter 86 Utilities, Chapter 94 Zoning, Chapter 95 Administrative Fees, providing for severability, providing for an effective date, and providing for scrivener's errors.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor in a second. I now open the floor for public comments. Ms. Kitchens comes forward. We've got a couple things that are there.
Allegra Kitchens, 1027 South 12th Street, Palatka, Florida. When I went over this appendix, I found some errors, or what appeared to be errors. There's something wrong with the computer program apparently. On page 12 of your 33-page document, chapter 74, paragraph B, it says subdivision development plan reviewed, $882, review 882.00. The second review, 822.00, is marked completely through. So what is the review cost proposed? Chapter 74, paragraph C, final plat base fee, $1 fee, 1,000.00. What is the base fee, $1 or $1,000? Page 25 of the 33-page document, chapter 86-311, new water connections, paragraph 2, 1-inch tap, $1, 5 tap 1, 100.00. The tap $1, 1.5 is underlined in the packet, and the tap 1, 1 is marked through, leaving 0.00 as the number. What is the cost here? Totally confusing. Paragraph 3. 2-inch, it says 2-inch tap, 2 tap, $3,000.00, no space here, 2 tap 2, 600, 2 tap 2, 600, 00, 2 tap 2, 600.00 is marked through. Is the new fee $3,000 or what? Page 31 of the 33-page document, chapter 94, zoning. Under section 94-39, fee schedule for zoning actions. Under C, large scale amendment. And it reads amendment 2, amendment 50 acres or greater, $2, 390.00. The second word amendment in blue is marked through, and 50 acres or greater, the $2 is underlined. What is the cost? $2,390 or $390? Paragraph H says similar. Amendment 1, amendment 1, amendment 1, amendment, less than 50 acres, $1, $7.90. The second word amendment in blue is marked through, and the words less than 50 acres, $4 are underlined. What is the cost? $790 or $1,790. Paragraph I says amendment 2, amendment 2, amendment 1, amendment, 50 acres or greater, $2,400. The second word amendment is in blue is marked through, and the words 50 acres or greater, in the words 58 acres and greater, and $2 are underlined. What is the cost? $2,400 or $400? These typos or confusing words or whatever the heck they are need to be addressed, clarified, and or corrected. Could you please make the corrections before you approve this? I think it's some sort of a computer program that messed up. I have a small copy here that Sonny would very graciously ran off all 33 pages, and everything is fine except the things I pointed out. But the way the underlining goes and the marking out, you cannot tell what the actual fees are.
I'm in agreement with that. And I had the
You
same.
want to explain that just before you do that? Can we just explain the red lining? You want to go ahead and explain what the red lining process is? Sorry to cut you off, Commissioner.
Mayor, Commissioners, this was brought to my attention at 4:45 this afternoon. Unfortunately, with a little bit more time, we probably could have addressed these scrivener's errors. This resulted earlier this week when we received about a handful of changes from the gas authority. As you know, we let them review the rates, and we brought some of our turn-on fees in line with their turn-on and turn-off fees. Unfortunately, when we merged the two documents using Microsoft Word, for some reason, we got this printout. It was not reviewed extensively. We just reviewed the sections that we changed from the gas authority, and we missed it. We apologize. But in that instance right there, under single lot residential zoning, you can see it added amendment 1, which 1 is for 1,790, 3 times mistakenly. There really is no change to the verbiage in amendment or the actual price
Ms. Walsh just added the less than 50 acres.
Well, I just say we table it until the corrections are made.
Second.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like to see it corrected. Cause I just don't like it. It's not a good looking feel from my perspective at least.
The issue I would point out is these rates are set to go in effect October 1. So if you do not adopt them October 1, you could have at least one billing cycle for utilities and garbage collection on your own rates, which would affect your budget.
By how much?
That is a question I was not prepared to answer, sir.
Okay. Well, I mean, if yes,
So what if we wouldn't have approved them anyway? So they already set to go out? But it hadn't been approved.
Well, we are prepared to implement them, sir.
But what if we did not approve them?
You would stay at your old rates.
So that's what we're gonna do until we approve them. So whenever you bring them back.
Did you say that would have an impact on our budget if we were to
Yes, that is correct.
So.
potential.
It would
Oh, I'm
affect,
sorry. You said it will?
it would, yes, because our projected revenue is based on 12 months at the new rate. So if this goes into effect, you'd be affected by 1 month, which means that it would be less, correct?
Okay.
Why don't you go ahead and approve? If it is, give me leeway. Why don't you
You
go ahead
get
and
leeway.
approve what you have contingent upon the corrections being made and gotten each of you
That's what I was
individually
going to say.
next week, which is before the end of September. And then if the corrections aren't made, then you'll have to do something else at the next commission meeting, but go ahead and approve it contingent on the corrections being made to where it's more readable, okay?
You can improve it subject.
So you totally contradicted what you just got up and said a few minutes ago.
No, she just brought.
No, she just
brought it to that-
she brought it to our attention.
errors that were in there.
Explain yourself, sir. I don't understand.
You said because at first you said I wouldn't approve it.
With those
That's before I
errors.
got the additional evidence presented by the good mayor and the finance director saying that everybody wouldn't get the increase in their water bill for October, which would be great. That 10 or 20 or $30 we're going to get for the 4,000 customers you got would be wonderful. But if we didn't get it, but you know, I know y'all need it.
For the record, that's not the amount of increase.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
So,
I'll make a motion.
so is there anyone else here for public comment at this time? Seeing no one, we'll close public comment. Now you can make your motion, Commissioner.
Is
the motion on
The motion on the floor is, there's a motion on the floor to adopt subject to script with, and as the resolution reads, the subject to scrivener's errors. as well.
There was a motion to table until the corrections are made.
There was,
No,
there was,
there wasn't one
there was
to
a motion
table.
before that.
Yes. I actually considered it and Commissioner
Right.
Moore said second, but there was not a motion.
There had been a motion.
There wasn't a motion, yeah.
First day on the job, we understand.
There was a motion made at the reading of the caption, correct? And who made that motion?
That was originally by Commissioner Campbell.
And that was a motion to accept the recommendation, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so there's a motion on the floor with a second to accept the recommendation in the resolution's caption that says subject to scrivener's error. Is there any further discussion on that motion? Questions called. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Let's make sure we correct those errors in the pricing so that there is clarity as this hits its final draft format.
All right.
Moving on to item 11C. TB case 22-30.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. An ordinance of the city of Palatka, Florida, annexing into the corporate limits of the city of Palatka, Florida, certain adjacent territory identified as part of the government lot 4, official records book 1054, page 1676, parcel F, parcel 1310264002600061, contiguous to the boundaries of the city of Palatka, providing for scrivener's errors, providing for an effective date.
So move.
Second.
I've got a speaker here. I'll go ahead and let you go, Ms. Walsh, first.
Sir, I'd be happy to sit down if you'd like to take them first.
No, we'll go ahead and take you first.
Thank you. Lisa Walsh, Planning Director. This is a request to annex one parcel, approximately 0.49 acres into the city for the purpose of connecting to the city's water and sewer systems. We'd like to amend the future land use map after annexation from Putnam County Urban Reserve to City of Palatka Residential Low, and rezone from Putnam County Agricultural to City of Palatka Residential Low. All the advertisement has been done in accordance with the law. The planning board reviewed this on September 6th and recommended approval.
Okay.
Any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Just before we get to questions, I'll go ahead. I've got one speaker card. We're open for public comment at this time. Ms. Wise, will you come forward? Just give us your name and address for the record.
My name is Audrey Wise. I reside at 1610 Edgemore Street here in Palatka. And I stand as the representative of our community on Edgemore Street. We attended the planning board meeting regarding the removal of from this county into the city. And we, as the community, had some concerns when we thought that this property was not going to, how can I say, fit what already exists in our neighborhood. We, in return, as the community, went to the developer, had a conversation, and the reason we're here today is to say our conversation with the developer was so positive that we were remiss not to come and say the standard that this developer heard our concerns. There was thoughts of putting 2 homes on this lot. He reconsidered and heard us saying 1. We talked about as far as fencing, as well as the type of shrubbery, trees, whatever. He took every consideration we had and placed it before us and heard us. And we want to say, as our community, that if these type of standards were done by others that have developed homes in this city, it would be more of a collaborative type of acceptance when homes are built. I heard your master plan thinking affordable housing and all of that stuff. But the community needs to be taken into consideration on any type of development, because the culture and the characteristics of someone's community is dear to them. That's why they purchased their homes. That's why they're living there. They want to maintain that type of integrity. This developer is going to do that for us. But unlike other places in Palatka, that is not taken in consideration. And we would like to say to this governing body that if you could have a conversation with this group and see how they were more amenable to the community.
We have.
And get that as a rule or a standard for others that's contemplating building, it would make it such a beautiful marriage for this community. Everyone wants the best for themselves and their family. But when something is thrust at you, it becomes an obstacle and you got your gander up. But as a smart planning, speaking to people, hearing what they gotta say, and I do understand, you can't take everything in consideration, but some things you can do. So I stand here as a city resident saying to this body that maybe a blueprint has started here, and maybe this blueprint could be used throughout the city. Because as we look through Palatka, I'm sorry, some of these homes are stuck on these lots. It's not right. It's not right for the people that live in the community, and it's definitely not right for the people that's living in it. Housing is at a minimum, not a minimum. And we understand people want beautiful homes and want to have a nice place to stay. But what is the sacrifice? Is it what they have to settle for because some of these developers just want to put something up? Or is it something that they would want their family member to live in? So I stand here, our group stand here, we're here in body, not in force, because these meetings are kind of long, y'all. I'm not kidding.
Oh, this is a short one. So this is a short one. You should wait for the long ones.
So I'm saying to you that if you could possibly use this as some type of.
We welcome the comments. And what I will say to you is this, and we're familiar with the developer. And the city manager and I actually, the builders on these particular projects, and some of the others around, we actually took a trip to see what the developer, what the builder was putting in place in other communities, and had that conversation. One of the things you have to be cognizant of is there are only certain things that trigger those conversations. What happens is if an individual is building a home and it complies with the Florida Building Code, there's very little opportunity for us to be engaged from the commission side of it. If certain projects go through the planning board, there are limited opportunities for us to come in place, particularly in this one. This is just an annexation. So it's really limited as to what we can do as a commissioning board as it relates to what's in place. But what we can do from a voice standpoint is do exactly what you and your neighbors did. And that's talk about those concerns and be able to speak to the individuals that are there to let them know what the intent is of the community and what our desire is and what our tolerance is going to be. And so those are the things that we've done. And I think that it's definitely incumbent upon all of us as a community collectively to be able to do that. And we applaud you and your neighbors for doing the thing that most people don't do. And that's have the conversation with your new neighbor so that they can understand what the neighborhood is about and the fact that you're upholding a standard which creates a culture. And so that's the infectious environment that we're trying to create. And that's why we're pushing forward with new code enforcement officers and adding those things in place so that Palatka has a standard that's not substandard. And so we're trying to change the narrative and build up hope and make things better. And it's a process, but it also takes buy-in from the citizens to be able to do exactly what you and your neighbors have done. And we're glad to have you come here and to give us that report.
Let me ask a question, and I don't want to belabor the situation. Is there a conversation that can be had with all your zoning and your planning board with the flavor of what you just said? So everyone's on the same page, because the problem is if you're not within 150 feet, you get no notification. So therefore it's hard to say it might not be in my neighborhood, but Palatka is my neighborhood. So a lot of stuff you don't know until it's done. I'm just saying maybe a conversation with the different boards.
But absolutely. And we welcome you to make application for those boards. Those opportunities exist.
Well, before relocating, I was the chair of the planning board in my city, as well as on the zoning board. So I am well versed, and yes, I am considering I see you have people, board members needed. So I thank you. And I just wanted to let you hear something that was positive, that worked, and that maybe can be used for someone else.
Yes, ma'am. And if you're interested, we will get your information and get you an application sooner than later.
And is her contact information is on that information? I would like to have it. Your contact information.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, presently there are 2 vacancies on the
There are
planning
2
board.
vacancies. If you're interested, we can make sure we get that information over to you.
For the record, Mayor Hill, there's actually vacancies on the zoning board of appeals as well as the planning board.
Right. And we can get one. We can get them from Mr. Davis. Anybody else back down that list as well? Isn't that right, Mr. Davis? He's not listening. So, Mr. Davis, we got an application for you too as well. So, but if there's any, but again, we also, we welcome those comments and we welcome your proactiveness within the community as a whole. And it's applaudable. And it's always good to hear that and to hear just that you're engaged and you're solution driven. And all too many times neighbors don't talk to neighbors before certain things happen. And it leaves you in a position where you have to react as opposed to be on it from the front side. And so it's definitely appreciated. Anything else from the commission? Commissioner Board, I see your light on.
No, I mean, I just commend them for coming in and speaking to the body. I really appreciate that. And again, like we got some valuable people that can fill some boards for us. We appreciate that.
And I agree, the meetings are long.
This is a short meeting.
It's not over yet.
It's not over. We're going to close public comment at this time. Is there any further discussion on the motion for annexation? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Moving on to item 2, which is amended future land use ordinance 2022-15 for adoption.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. An ordinance of the city of Palatka, Florida, adopting the future land use map of the adopted comprehensive plan be amended with respect to the following parcel of land less than 50 acres of size from Putnam County Urban Reserve to city of Palatka Residential Low Density for the following property. Part of Government Lot 4, Official Records Book 1054, page 1676, parcel F, parcel 1310264002600061, contiguous to the boundaries of the city of Palatka and providing for scrivener's errors and providing for an effective date.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor and a second. We now open the floor up for public comment. Is there anyone else here for public comment? Seeing no one, we'll close public comment. Is there any further discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Moving on to rezoning ordinance 2022-16, first reading.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. An ordinance of the city of Palatka, Florida, providing that the official zoning map of the city of Palatka, Florida be amended from Putnam County Residential Single Family R1 to City of Palatka Residential Single Family R1A for the following property, part of Government Lot 04, Official Records Book 1054, page 1676, parcel F, parcels 1310264002600061, providing for severability, providing for scrivener's errors, and providing for an effective date.
So move.
2022-13. There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Motion on the floor in a second. We're now open the floor for public comments. Is there anyone here for public comment? Seeing no one, we'll close public comments. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Moving on to item D, PBKs 22-32. Annexation ordinance is up first, 2022-14. Ms. Krantz, let's go.
Thank you. An ordinance of the city of Palatka, Florida, annexing into the corporate limits of the city of Palatka, Florida, certain adjacent territory identified as high lawn, map book 2, page 489, block D, lots 1, 2, 3, 10, 11, 12, parcel 11, 10, 26, 37, 70, 0040, 0010, contiguous to the boundaries of the city of Palatka, providing for scrivener's errors and providing for an effective date.
Before we go to the motion, Ms. Walsh, you want to just give us a summary?
Request to annex the parcel approximately 0.63 acres for the purpose of connecting the city's water and sewer systems and constructing a fast food restaurant. Amend the future land use from Putnam County Urban Reserve to City of Palatka Commercial and rezone from Putnam County Commercial General Light C2 to City of Palatka Commercial Intensive C2. This is actually the Checkers restaurant next door to Huddle House.
Have all your concerns been met
Yes, sir.
as it relates to accessibility?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion. There's a motion in a second. We'll now open the floor for public comment. Is there anyone here for public comment? Seeing no one, we'll close public comment. Is there any further discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Moving on to item 2, amending future land use map ordinance 2022-15 for adoption.
Thank you, sir. An ordinance of the city of Palatka, Florida, providing that the future land use map of the adopted comprehensive plan be amended with respect to the following parcel of land less than 50 acres in size from Putnam County Urban Reserve to the city of Palatka Commercial for the following property: 101 High Lawn Avenue, Palatka, Florida, 32177. High Lawn, map book 2, page 49, block B, lots 1, 2, 3, 10, 11, 12, parcel number 11, 10, 26, 37, 70, 0040010, contiguous to the boundaries of the city of Palatka, and providing for scrivener's errors and providing for an effective date.
So move.
There's a motion on the floor in a second. And I'll open the floor for public comment. Is there anyone here for public comment? Seeing no one, we'll close public comment. Is there any further discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Moving on to the zoning ordinance
An ordinance.
22-16.
An ordinance of the city of Palatka, Florida, providing that the official zoning map of the city of Palatka, Florida be amended from Putnam County Commercial General Light C2 to City of Palatka Commercial Intensive C2 for the following property: 101 High Lawn Avenue, Palatka, Florida, 32177. High Lawn, map book 2, page 49, block D, lots 1, 2, 3, 10, 11, 12, parcel number 11, 10, 26, 37, 70, 0040010, providing for severability, providing for scrivener's errors, and providing for an effective date.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor in a second. Now for public comment. Is there anyone here for public comment? Seeing no one, will close public comment. Is there any further discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Moving on to emergency item discussion.
We did it. Then we already did it. We moved it. We moved it to.
Discussion and direction on canceling the CRA meeting.
No, that was a different one. Here's another. Okay, I'm sorry. He's right.
Emergency item for discussion and direction on the CRA meeting.
I'll make a motion that we accept this as an emergency item.
Second.
It's motion on the floor in a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. All right, there's a recommendation to cancel the October 10 CRA meeting and to schedule a special call CRA meeting.
What's the difference?
Mr. Griffith,
The 10
did we
seconds.
have a date already in place for the potential call? Okay,
So we're moving it up a week.
right.
So the recommendation for staff is to move the meeting up a week. I think I have another.
There's a reason for it, if you'd like explanation. Well, I'll see if you want explanation.
Go ahead. I'll be okay. 10 seconds.
There's been some increased interest in private development in the downtown area. And we've got at least one developer that we'd like to bring to the table and have some conversation about a public-private partnership to assist in additional parking to meet.
Okay. You've heard the recommendation from staff. And that was 7.
I've trained him well.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion
Creating the
to,
monster.
motion to approve.
There's a motion to accept staff's recommendation. There's a second. There's a motion on the floor, second by Commissioner Jones. Is there any unreadiness? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Next up, city manager and administrator reports, consideration of special events policies. Is that what you covered earlier?
Yes, sir.
So do we need to adopt the actions, or we're gonna, so just for the record, just so that we can have a clear record as it relates to the special events policies, are there any additional concerns, or do you want to bring it back as a policy, a written policy at a future time? It's already been presented before us.
Whatever the board's preference.
So move
Second.
to accept what he already presented to us.
Second.
What policy?
No,
He
Just
said,
said and talked about it.
Special event policy?
I sent it to everyone by email. I went over it without reading it verbatim earlier. If you want to bring it back for adoption at a later meeting, I don't know that we've got anything pending right now before the next meeting that would be affected. So there'd be no harm in doing that. If you want to bring it back for adoption and consideration at a next meeting, whatever your preference is. We're probably going to go ahead and operate under that policy in the meanwhile anyway, just because I don't see anything in it that's offensive. You being notified of the meetings, Next year, we'll be looking at the budgeting, and if someone wants money that's not budgeted, they'll be coming before you before they go before the special events. So that's basically the crux of it.
And as a reminder, 2 long hours ago, there was positive feedback from the commission on the item.
Yep.
So move. The Commissioner Cam already moved it. I second
There's a motion on the floor in a second. Is there any further discussion on the motion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Nothing further.
Council, you have anything for us today? Mike's not on.
No, sir. Just to say that I guess I'm saying until Mr. Holmes and I came in together, so I guess we'll go out together.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that really doesn't soften the blow, but
No, well, hold on. Mr. Holmes was already here. So that means you're gonna stay?
No, so that means that Mr. Holmes started on May 1st as the permanent city manager.
May
And-
15th, actually, be precise.
No, it was May 1st, because I came in May 1st.
So this,
We'll go with that.
so this is, so this is coterminous.
I would appreciate that. I think that city attorney and I have,
Do we have to accept that?
I'm sorry.
Do we have to accept that?
I think we need to review their contracts.
So that's good to hear. It gives us an opportunity to kind of make the transition consistent. And so we appreciate that. Mr. McMillan. You almost forgot, didn't you?
You really want to stand up here?
Is your mic on?
I think it is, yeah. I'll give it a shot. I'm not sure if everyone is aware of the situation regarding our commercial front-end loader and its inability to be fueled by Palatka gas in, well, they're not here, sometime early November. We are actively seeking an alternative way to either fuel the vehicle or an alternative vehicle as we speak. But we're working towards and trying not to discontinue any service. I can't make any promises, but
So do we need to have a conversation with the owners of the facility about possibly extending time? So until we get a solution, get an alternative?
As of right now, they have declined to renew the lease, and it is up, I think, October 1, is it?
November.
November 1?
No, it's in November.
So, we're actively looking, but as of right now, they have declined to renew the lease. Our property is, obviously our facilities are on their property.
If you want us to, we can ask, we can try to ask. We know some of the folks who work over there, so we can try to ask.
Okay. It's changed ownership since we negotiated the lease, and
So for clarity, the CNG, the CNG pumps that are at the mobile gas station, the lease is not being renewed by the new owners, and which puts us in a position where our commercial loader won't be able to be fueled daily, and we would have to come up with an alternative fueling.
that is correct. Alternative fueling, there is another location, I believe in Benel, but the transit time is not,
And by
it
the,
doesn't make sense.
and by the time you drive to Benel and fill it up, you're only half full.
Eventually turn back around.
Yeah,
well, that's what we ended up doing when the station went down earlier. We
Right.
weren't doing that, except we were doing it to St. Johns County.
right.
You're right, exactly, with the
Yeah.
inefficiency of it.
Yeah, so that's where we are. And so we adjust and we keep moving on a regular basis, but it's something that's useful for the commission. So if anybody has a contact at the mobile gas station with the owners, let's exercise it to see if we can get them to the table to find a solution, as well as what staff is working on. Thanks for the good news, Mr. McMillan. Mr. Griffith, you got anything else?
Don't give me any more.
Ms. Walsh.
Thank you, sir. This is just a brief staff report on summary of our cases that we've been looking at this year and some of the projects. Brief, very brief. So far this year, we've done 148 different cases that we've either processed as building permits or planning board cases, that sort of thing. Combination with what we did in the last 6 months of 2021, that's 250, 300 cases over that time period. There's some of the larger projects that we've been working on, of course, are the Wawa gas station that's under plan review in the latter stages of that plan review process. Scooters is under construction and almost complete. Longhorn Steakhouse plans are about to be submitted shortly. Checkers, of course, is under construction. Cottages has been sold and hopefully will move along. Yeah. Plants of Ruskin, that's their expansion is under plan review. You might likely saw the article in the paper today about their operation and their growth. That is a pun intended.
Next.
Ilianos is under plan review. That's a coffee shop similar to Scooters. That's planned to go in the Windy City Plaza.
Lots of coffee.
I know.
It's a good call.
It's a high profit margin in that stuff. HP survey grant, we need the final contract for that from the agreement for this from the state. We've completed the minimum living area code of revisions. We submitted their Department of Revenue numbers. This year, we completed the census boundary survey. That's an annual requirement from the state. We completed the floodplain management agreement. And that's it.
You need some more staff.
Great job.
Well, and we are,
Yeah,
we have that approved. We are
yeah.
looking for it.
Thank you very much. Chief Shaw. So are you calm? Are you calm now? You ready?
No.
Sorry, so were you talking to me or Eddie?
Tonight,
Thought you were referring to Mr. Cutler.
bald heads, I'm telling you. So you got something for us today, sir?
I submitted a report for our crime stats. I can answer any questions if you have.
Any questions from the commission as it relates to what we have in place? Can you give, I guess, for the community's purpose, an update as to the double homicide that took place? I think that's something that we didn't discuss previously. What you can share with the public at this point, so that we can at least have that officially on the record.
Sure. Before leaving, after last meeting, I met with both city manager and city attorney. We released a press release basically summarizing the events that took place the night of in question. What we found is that the two individuals that are deceased engaged in gunfire, and as an end result, killed each other. Two other victims was injured in the process. I'm sorry, 3 other victims was injured in the process and has since been released from the hospital. We've interviewed a number of different witnesses, processed evidence with the assistance of FDLE from the scene, and we are continuing to interview witnesses to this date to not only get a complete understanding of the event that occurred, but to make sure we provide a perfect or as nearly perfect description to those in question.
Okay. Any questions from the commission?
No.
Any additional reports that you want to share at this time?
We got a couple of areas where we had traffic complaints. As you can see in the passing laws that we've been putting out to you all on a daily basis, those areas have been being addressed. We have put together a calendar on the traffic issues that we continue to receive throughout the city, and we're going to be addressing them on not only on a day-to-day basis for a focus on each area, but to continue to show enforcement in those areas as we go forward.
Okay. Anything else?
Well, your staffing level, how many are you still down?
We are currently down 6. We are in the process of going through another board. We're finishing up a background on one. We hope to be able to bring that individual on here soon. We also did interview for a subject who's currently in the military, and we're going to be bringing him on as reserves until he finishes his assignment, and we look to bring him on full time when he finishes that. We have received applications for a couple of other individuals, and we're going to be holding oral boards for them once their processes reach that level. Usually we do oral boards for every 3 months. Right now, quarterly, I'm sorry. Right now we are looking at doing them as the applications come in, and we get enough to attend the oral boards.
I just want to commend you guys for doing all that you do with being short staffed as you are, and just want to commend you guys for what you're doing.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Jones says if he waive the fit for duty standards, he'll come back.
Thank you, Chief Shaw, for your professionalism, how you presented that report. We really appreciate that. And also, I would like to commend your officers and your staff on how you handled that situation that we had earlier this month. I can't say enough about the professionalism that I saw and the expediency that you guys show in that case.
Thank you, sir.
He ignored my comment.
And last but not least, in joining in the community and what we've done in our community efforts, National PAL has pushed forth the "if you see something, say something," and we are actually echoing that. And we've done it in previous terms, and we asked the community to step up, but we are pushing forward along with National PAL in their efforts to get the word out. If you see something, say something. I think it's been tremendous efforts that we look to accomplish with our community engagement, and I think it's working. It may not be to the level that we would like it to be, but it is increasing and it's doing a lot better. So I did want to push that out to the community. We ask the public, if you see something, say something. That's all I have for our report.
All right, thank you, sir. Scott Wright.
Eddie Cutright, Community Affairs, 205. Now, I just want to say, first of all, I want to thank everybody that helped support with the Florida League of Cities dinners last week. The Public Works, the Fire Department, the Police Department, and Ms. Walsh helped out wonderfully and helped us make that smooth transition. Next thing I want to talk about is
Great job. So great reviews. I think great reviews. I've talked to a few people who attended as well as some of the Northeast Florida League folks, and they were really pleased with the results.
Second, all I want to talk about the mobile rec. We had a mobile rec this past Tuesday at Brooker Park. We had about 47 kids that participated in pickleball. It's live, it's on the feed. Just go take a look. Pickleball and basketball, it was a wonderful turnout. Miss Marjorie and then also Jimmy Simons, they came out to help support, and they did a wonderful job with the kids. So I want to let you know that we're doing that throughout the fall, different locations. So please, if you got time, come out and help support and join in the fun. I'm still trying to get the Mayor Hill and city manager out there to play pickleball. This is coming from Jimmy, so don't quote me on this. Come out and play pickleball. So y'all have been invited several times, so please try to make one of those. And last but not least, I want to just highlight something that's dear to me, the Veterans Red, White, and Youth. It'll be October 8th at the riverfront. It's just a lunch and a picnic to try to get the veterans out there, and we have different dinners out there to educate them and let them know some of the support that they can get around here, because most of you don't know if you're not a military person, every 22 days we lose a veteran through suicide or different issues that we have. So we want to make sure we touch that. And that's dear to me because of my military service. So I just want to make sure I bring awareness to that.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Mr. McNair, you have anything for us today? No, sir. It's hard to follow those last two. Chief.
We gave you the first hour of the meeting.
You gotta love this crowd.
So I know I've had a few questions about all the cars out at the Moody Road Station. We've been training with the Seminole guys, doing hazmat, confined space, and fire brigade training.
You mean like FSU?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just like that.
So can you just keep going?
That goes on almost 36 hours a week for those guys and 4 weeks in a row. We've also been picking up a lot of confined space coverage at Georgia Pacific, which is bringing in a little extra money. Working on several grants, the decon grant for the trucks. We got a USAR grant for equipment and clothing. And we're working on firehouse subs for electrification. And it's no surprise to Mr. Holmes, but the tower is down in Fort Myers being worked on. Hope we can get a good bit done to it this year. It's been a hard time to find anyone to even work on it.
Thank you. Thank you for the good news.
So that's basically it. Thank you.
Well, again, Chief, thank you. Ms. Krantz,
Just thank you all. Nothing further, sir.
see how she managed her time? And last but not least, Ms. Shank. Stand up. So,
I'm happy to report that your digital budget book is almost done. We finally got our last pass through on all of the final budget numbers. So now that the commission has adopted it this evening, I can give them the green light to go ahead and put the numbers through, and it'll be ready for review and my edits on Monday. 26th.
anything else we need to announce?
No,
All is well?
all is well. Thank you very much.
Great job on the budget. We appreciate you. So, Ms. Jones, I didn't see you over there. No, yes, I did. I'm just playing. Ms. Jones, you got anything for us? Two minutes.
So just for our job openings, and I do apologize, I usually send out the job vacancies to the city manager every week, and I did not give them to you. But the only thing was only one addition, and that was a position for the victims advocate position at the police station that we added. At current, we do have about 24 vacancies here at the city. We're currently advertising on the website, on Indeed, and Employ Florida. I will do a lot more of advertising on Indeed coming in with the new budget year. With the new budget that's been allotted, in order to get some of these, we are interviewing for two of the three of the positions, four of the planning and for wastewater. We'll be setting those interviews up for next week, so that should eliminate probably about 4 positions if those applicants are accepted. I'd like to speak on employee of the month nominations again. We only received 2 in for the entire city. So I am asking the department heads to please, as well as staff, to let staff know, to nominate employees for, if they see them doing and, presenting those qualities that we've outlined in the nomination form. Another thing that we want to do, in our last safety meeting, the city, we are going to try and start scheduling safety meetings for employees on different topics. Mr. McMillan is giving me some ideas, and of course, I'll be teaming up with Mr. Cutright and Mr. Mayor as the coordinator and safety officer of the safety committee. So we'll be trying to schedule some meetings for our employees there. When we renew with Florida Blue, of course, and I'll be speaking on this probably everything, just to keep everybody aware, the blood screenings that we did before in January of last year, that's all a part of us being able to determine what our new renewal rates will be. So we're going to start trying to encourage employees to come out We'll be doing drawings. We'll have a food truck. We'll be giving out probably gift cards or something for all of our participants, but that's one of the main events that determine and help us push our rates up so that we can come in and renew our lower rates. That's what I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Borum.
First, I want to commend Sunny for her accomplishment, well-deserved accomplishment. Woo, city clerk, CMC, big deal. And I couldn't make the last Northeast Florida League of Cities meeting because I had a policy committee meeting down in Orlando. From that meeting, Transportation and Intergovernmental Relations came out with two priorities, and one of them was affordable housing, and the other one was transportation. What else I had? I think that's done with that. And
You can't remember, it's okay.
no, it's and I think that'll do it. That's all I have.
Commissioner Jones.
I don't have anything further tonight.
Commissioner Campbell.
I just want to quickly say great things are happening with our Youth Ambassadors Program. We just had our meeting on Monday. Thanks to Attorney Thomas for leading the charge, also to the staff that stayed back with us. We have a very interesting group of kids and eager to be on this board. So we're looking for great things coming forth. And I wish you all could have been there for the conversation.
We're continuing to move the community forward. It's always great to have these collaborations. It's great for this community to band together, and times when other people want to stir pots, we will continually bind and make things happen. And so for those of us who are on Team Palatka, kudos to you. The team is going to continue to win at all costs. And regardless of what the naysayers say, the city